15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Seeing an overwhelming desire for Perloff to show off the leggings. In fact,
that's weird. Is it some sort of technical difficulty?
We'll see if there's any kind of glitch. Someone said leggings should not be in a man's wardrobe.
Performance pants.
See, that doesn't sound right either.
Yeah, I don't know. By the way,
sound like don't take Viagra. Just have these performance
pants from Roman. So no,
they're sent to you in a discreet package.
Yeah.
What kind of package?
Medium, size, small.
Here are Maggie and Perloff.
What up? Okay, we gotta get right to it today because there's a lot on the plate. Perloff and I have a lot of spinning plates in the air.
Not really plates. More like jars.
Jars and spoons. We've got updates on a lot of things. We should welcome everybody. Hi, welcome to the Maggie and Perloff show. Glad to have you. It's Thursday. We'll give you an update on the Andrew Perloff Peanut Butter Challenge in just a moment. But we have to start with the Combine, Perloff, because we're in full swing. And this is your favorite time of the Combine, which is we actually get the underwear Olympics now.
Yeah.
Where guys are going to start working out. We're going to see a little bit more, and also the measurables.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, to me, the most significant thing is the quarterback hand size. Everything else is...
By the way, my guy Kenny Pickett,
he was good, but it's not like he's in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. He'll be the starter this year, though.
So what, to be the starter? Are you saying Kenny Pickett disproves the hand size theory?
I think we can put that one to bed, but we've got a new controversy.
No, you definitely can't.
Well, there's a new controversy now.
Yeah.
It's not about hand size, even though I know that category does seem important to you. It's about weight, and it's about Bryce Young and how strong of a grip does he have on the number one overall pick. And it's not because of his ability to play quarterback. I know that sounds crazy, but it's a durability issue, or could be a durability issue, because he's not expected to be 6 feet. And we just got a bit of an update on what we expect him to weigh in at.
Yeah, so our buddy CBS Sports' Jonathan Jones tweeted it's going to be around 200 is what he's hearing or reporting. So you say that, and I need the science. Are small quarterbacks that much more prone to injury? And listen, we probably should have done that before the show, but big quarterbacks get hurt.
How we're going to do
big
that.
Quarterbacks get hurt. Small quarterbacks get hurt. All kinds of quarterbacks get hurt. Obviously, the two of the most durable ones that we've seen in the last, say, 10 years were, for a long time, Russell Wilson had the Ironman record. Then Drew Brees.
Eli Manning had it literally had the record for most consecutive starts.
Right, and then Drew Brees had about 10 years without getting hurt, and he's very small. So anecdotally, there are small guys that are fine, and there are big guys who get hurt all the time. Lots of guys who are big. Just because by the way, even if you're a big quarterback, 230, you're going to get sacked by a guy who's 330. So,
well, that always does happen.
Yeah, I think there's a lot goes in here. How do you avoid hits? How quickly do you get rid of the ball?
Listen, I think
all sorts of things.
I think we all understand that it's a case by case, and we all know that because there's more things involved in what makes a great quarterback beyond just their size. How smart are they? How quickly can they adapt to an offense? How much can they read defenses? How committed are they? All of that stuff goes, are they great leaders? All that stuff goes into a quarterback. But I'm telling you, from my point of view, if I'm the general manager and my job's on the line, I can't go into the season spending the number one overall pick. I'm basically staking my career and my job, my reputation, everything on somebody who, with one hit, could be out. Now, you could say, well, a big guy could have one hit, but I would rather take my chances of someone the size of Josh Allen or Ben Roethlisberger being able to get back up than somebody the size of Bryce Young or Tua. And listen, to Tua's credit, he did keep getting back up. I think the whole world was telling him, no, stay down. And he kept getting back up. But I'm trying to look for some longevity. I can't solve everything. I'm not going to get everything from one person. But if I'm talking about factors and variables, that would matter to me if I were the GM.
Yeah, I have to see more numbers on this because, there's obviously Tua, but there's a lot of other small quarterbacks. Most of the quarterbacks who've been drafted high in recent years have been on the smaller side.
Yeah, I think it's a trend. And
Baker was fine. And Kyler Murray was okay until this year.
I know, he tore his ACL. I mean, I think that this thing goes in cycles, I think. And it's a credit to Russell Wilson and to Drew Brees that all of a sudden shorter quarterbacks, it became like a non-issue. It became a non-talking point. Baker Mayfield goes number 1 overall. Kyler Murray goes number 1 overall.
Right.
Bryce Young could go number 1 overall. I'm not saying that we're past this. I'm just telling you what I would do. And I need somebody who I could feel a little bit better about the normal, quote unquote, wear and tear of just being a quarterback in the National Football League. I'm hoping this person is going to be a bit more durable.
Yeah,
Justin Herbert hit in the ribs, right?
Yeah. He's been hurt a bit.
And imagine, though, if he wasn't 6'5" and 230 pounds, would he have missed games? He might have.
He might not have stood in there for that hit like a lot of other smaller quarterbacks would not do. I mean, Trey Lance is gigantic. And he has not been able to stay.
Well, no San Francisco quarterback can stay healthy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what size, shape, age, they all get hurt.
I mean, okay, if we're talking about, there's two things, too. Tearing an ACL like Kyler Murray, that can happen at any size. Has happened throughout the history of the NFL and the NBA at any size. I think the issue is concussions. Isn't that what we're talking about here?
I'm talking about...
Are you talking about lower body injuries?
I'm talking about durability, but we can talk about concussions, too.
I mean, Bryce Young, is he any more likely to tear his ACL than a 6'4" quarterback?
Maybe not a tear of an ACL, but I'm talking about, maybe we can talk about concussions. Like, I'm seeing times where, let's say Tua, for example, we got, folded in half,
Again, give me some other examples besides Tua.
Well, I mean, there's more tall quarterbacks than short quarterbacks, so I don't have as many instances to give you. But the concussions part of it is a big deal because now it appears the NFL's not sweeping this stuff under the rug like they used to, right? The public outcry after Tua was so much so that they made a big deal about the independent spotters. More guys started getting held out because of concussions. They acknowledged at the end of the season that concussions were up. I mean, the league itself said we had more concussions this year. I think that was a way almost of patting themselves on the back, like, hey, we're taking this seriously. We're actually diagnosing these.
Yeah, but again, I feel like huge quarterbacks get concussions. Troy Aikman's a big dude. He left the league because of concussions. Brady probably had one every year, according to Giselle.
Yeah.
A lot of big quarterbacks get knocked out. I'm looking at the most consecutive starts list, and there are a lot of big guys on there because, of course, they're big quarterbacks. But Favre wasn't huge, and he started a million games in a row.
Okay, so you would take Bryce Young number 1 overall?
Absolutely.
And not even think twice about it?
Not twice.
Okay. I mean,
the other thing, too, is if I'm
it doesn't matter then that he even comes in at 200 pounds. How about 195? How about 190? How about 185?
He's my guy. You know who he reminds me of?
Yeah.
And I've said this before. He's got a Steph Curry vibe. How many times in the history of draft, NBA or NFL, have we said, oh, man, we underestimated that guy because he didn't fit this idea of measurable? So many times. Aaron Donald's a great example. He fell to 13 because he was short for a defensive tackle. I think that you got to ignore that because tall guys get hurt too. And Bryce Young, if he's so small, how does he generate so much power when he passes?
I mean, that could be the lower body stuff, but that's not... I feel like that's a different kind of than what I'm talking about, right? Being able to generate power on your throws is like having good lower body. Like Jalen Hurts can squat 600 pounds. Remember he did that in college? Kind of won over the locker room when he got to Oklahoma and with that viral video. And you need the lower body, but if I'm 190 and I'm 5'11", or whatever, he's going to be 5'10 and a half. I mean, you're talking about someone who's got to be a major exception. He's going to be a major exception to the rule here, and if I were the GM, I wouldn't do it. I'm not betting on an exception.
So say you said, okay, that's number 1. What about 5? Where are you?
No, I'm not drafting him.
You're not drafting him at all?
No. I mean, if I'm picking that high, right, I'm in the market for a quarterback that I want to be a starter. So, no, that's a pass for me.
Wow.
Yeah. I like Bryce Young.
So
this is not a personal thing at all. What's that?
You wouldn't even have him in the first round.
If it were me, it would be he's not on my board.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could say if he fell to the second round, he's not going to. He's going to be a top 2 quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely take him 1. I mean, obviously, he's probably not going to go past 4, I would think. Yeah, I definitely would draft him. I mean, I think I'm in the majority here. Obviously, unless we were totally all being fooled and he comes in at 185. So it doesn't matter what he weighs in to you. Say he weighs in at 205. Nothing.
So
Makes no difference.
Here's the thing about the combine. I've always thought this, and the combine to me, I understand why teams use it. Right? There's like this sort of standardization of everyone in the field. So it's like, all right, I can compare guys, this guy to this guy. But I don't exactly know what it tells me, right? Like, does it really like measure your explosiveness? Because you're doing it in shorts. You don't even have pads on. So I don't know if I'm using any of these measurables of the athleticism stuff as my end-all be-all, because I don't think a lot of it is really simulating what you're seeing on the field.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And obviously, I think the assistant coaches and the coaches overestimate what they see at the combine instead of going to tape. But there are positions, I think wide receiver and cornerback, obviously, you're watching their 40. You can't help but do it. I do think that there is something to this explosiveness.
Oh, yeah, listen, you can watch
Aaron
offensive
Donald,
and defensive linemen, watch the 10 splits. Like, it doesn't have to be the full 40.
Again, Aaron Donald comes to mind. Yeah. He sort of blew this thing out of the water and worked out. Yeah, listen, I'm an Eagles fan. We drafted a guy named Mike Mamula out of Boston College who became the face of workout wonders.
But I think you can study for these. You can study for the 40. You can get your body in shape for the 40. You can get your body in shape to do the 3-cone drill. Just like I think you can put on weight in an effort to be impressive at this weigh-in, but like, can you keep it on? And also, can you keep it on through the rigors of a season? I think guys go one of two ways, right? I think the heavier linemen sometimes tend to gain weight during a season, and I think other guys tend to lose weight during a season. Yeah. And I'd be worried that even if Bryce Young starts off at 200 pounds, what is he by week 12?
Well, also, some guys during the pre-draft process try and get heavy for the combine, lose it, and do a fast 40. So the heavier you are, the slower your 40 is.
Sure.
But let me read you some names.
Okay.
I got some names. Top 25 longest starting streaks in NFL history.
Okay.
Listen to the size of some of these guys. I don't have the size. Okay. Andy Dalton. You've been around Andy.
Andy's big.
No, he's tiny.
Really? How? I've never actually been around Andy.
Andy is definitely not big. He might be 6'1". Kirk Cousins is not big.
And he's listed at 6'2". Okay,
Kirk Cousins is definitely not big.
No.
He's bigger than Bryce Young. Drew Brees is on this list twice. He had a 79 streak and an 82-game streak. And then I'm going to ignore all the tall guys here. Derek Carr's not particularly big. He's okay, 6'2". Yeah, then Brett Favre's number one.
Wait, who are the tall guys you're ignoring?
Okay, well, one is let's do the real list. Favre is one. Okay. Not a huge guy. He was thick, though. 2 is Phillip Rivers.
Yeah,
3 was tall. Eli. 4 was Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And 5 was Matt Ryan, all pocket guys. 6 was Russell Wilson. 7 was Stafford, who's medium size. Jaws, Brady, Joe Ferguson. How big was Joe Ferguson? He was a Bill.
Yeah, I mean, big.
No, he was. He was small.
Stafford is 6'3".
Yeah, Joe Ferguson was 6 feet tall, 195.
I only am watching from the tape. Stafford is 6'3". I don't consider that
There's
small.
no way Matt Stafford's 6'3".
Well,
I've been up close and personal with Matt Stafford. Yeah, he's pretty thick, but there's no way he's 6'3". Maybe he's
6'3", 220 is at least what I'm getting from NFL.com.
All right, but
that's not 5'10", 185.
What does this 20 pounds matter when a 335-pound man is throwing you to the ground? Does that really make that big a difference?
Well, I mean, he's on this list, wasn't he, for longest streaks? So I can make the case.
But then there's a thousand bigger quarterbacks who had no durability.
Listen, you're asking me if I'm the GM what I do. I told you why, and I told you what I do, and I gave you the reasons why. And I don't think I would regret it either. And listen, I'm not rooting against Bryce Young at all. Like, I think he's great. You put on the tape in college. Dude can make all the throws. I mean, he did take some hard hits in college and also did miss time this year with the shoulder injury. But he can make all the throws. He's got the great anticipation. He played against an elite competition, so you believe what you're watching. I mean, and he's, got the leadership and the personality and all that stuff to boot. It just wouldn't be for me.
Man, the Texans are so psyched if he falls to 2.
Why they could just trade up.
I wouldn't.
Just to make sure that the Colts don't, in your own division, don't jump on top of you.
Then just take Stroud. I think the
Wait a minute. I thought you were on the Bryce Young.
I love Bryce Young, but I think all 4 guys are going to go in the top 8. I don't know that you trade a first-round pick to go from 2 to 1 this year. I would not do that. And I think it might cost that. first round or second round. I would not necessarily trade. I happen to like Bryce Young, but I kind of like the other guys too. So I would take Bryce Young first, but not. I wouldn't trade a first round pick for the right to do it.
Okay, so the chat is up and running. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio. The Weedos, the Purple Drankers, everyone's in full effect right now. Thomas L. reminding me of something. Did you see the photo of Bryce Young standing next to ESPN's Mina Kimes?
No.
That didn't help Bryce Young because Mina tried to explain, no, I was wearing extremely high heels that day. Guys, I'm actually taller than you think, but they looked like about the same size. And you can't tell from a photo, but she's someone who talks about football on TV. He's someone who plays it. Let's see. We've got more here. How about RPC saying Big Ben would play on a busted leg? He would have gotten hurt a lot more if he wasn't so massive.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Big Ben and injuries. We all know that deal.
There's for some reason, whenever I bring up Big Ben and injuries, Perloff makes a...
Busy right before the Super Bowl. He's
faking it.
Well, yeah, he's clearly faking it. You know about him and Tomlin always disagreeing on his injuries.
Well,
Tomlin rolling his eyes when the media comes up to Tomlin and said, "Where'd you hear about that Big Ben what now?" And they said Big Ben told us. He's like, "That's the first we've heard of this injury."
Well, I mean, can't you imagine Belichick saying the same thing?
Also, yeah, did Big Ben get hurt a couple times? I don't see him on this list of durable guys.
He got at the end. He got
banged. I don't think he had like a lot of serious injuries. He got banged up.
But also once was he had a motorcycle accident.
Yeah,
was one thing.
But he just got like a lot of injured ribs, and he would just miss a game here or there. But I don't think he had significant long-term injuries.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Height and weight. And Bryce Young, if you were the GM, would you take him with a top pick, or would you be scared off by his size? Okay, are we going to do the update to the Perloff Peanut Butter Challenge? Okay. We got the Skippy. It's here, but we got to update you guys. And we got to get into how you pick Skip. We got a lot to do. We got to go step by step on this thing. But first, the announcement. That will come next. And I'll let Perloff do the honors on that. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. It is the Maggie and Perloff Show across the country on CBS Sports Radio. All of our incredible affiliates, hello. We're also streaming live, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. So there's some big news, not necessarily good news, on the peanut butter challenge, Maggie.
Wait, hold on. Before you do that.
Right, I was going to say, we'll get to it in a minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But we have a poll up. Now, this is interesting because I think we need to reword the poll, Samter. But how did you put it out there?
I put it out there. If Bryce Young weighs in under 200 pounds, would you be too concerned about injury and durability to draft him in the top 5?
Succinct.
I think you should make it by first round.
It needed the caveat, right? So I couldn't make it too succinct.
Yeah.
So forget
Would
top
you draft
5.
Bryce Young? Yes or no?
Let's make it in the first round. See what.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it does need to be in the first round. Does it?
That's
I
so
think it's kind of
50-50.
implied. Right now it's 50-50?
It's 51-49 right now. Too small.
Yeah, too early to call it.
Right, but Maggie said she wouldn't do the first round, so to do the top 5.
Yeah, but if I put first round, I feel like it would be 99 to 1%.
Yeah.
Maggie being the 1%.
Give me a fighting chance. I said if I was a GM, I would not draft Bryce Young because of his size. I think he's a great player. I would be worried about his durability.
Yeah.
I'd be worried about concussions.
You could definitely, I mean, I think you would agree, though, if 24, the risk is a lot less than 1.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're into the territory where you would actually take a running back, then yes, the risk is less.
Although it seems like Bijan Robinson is going to fall somewhere between 10 and 15. There's a lot of buzz about that dude.
Well, you want to know why? He can catch passes. So he's like a hybrid type of guy. I think he's way more than just a running back. And we've talked to him about that.
I don't think so. I think there's a million guys who catch passes. I think it's because he's a unique runner. There's a lot of guys. But honestly, I've watched a lot of Bijan Robinson. Is he that unique? He's getting Saquon comparisons. He's getting Adrian Peterson comparisons.
I mean, he's big for a running back. Yeah. He's like a big. I see the Adrian Peterson. I can understand that. I mean, I don't know if he's as strong, but we talked to him about, adding the passing game into his repertoire and just how much he felt like he needed to do that.
Yeah,
in this day and age.
This will be, because no one's drafting a running back anymore. He's a rare exception.
Yeah, you got to be like a playmaker now. That's the euphemism.
Well, Najee Harris went 24. He was the last first rounder, right?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, well, that was a mistake, but yes. Najee Harris and Etienne went 24-25. Yeah, anyway, today we're talking about Bryce Young. Let's keep it to the quarterbacks. A running back debate can be held for another day.
Okay, let's go to our pal, Big Dave, who's in Kentucky. Hey, Dave, how you been?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How's everything?
Well, sometimes life gets in the way. I ain't called in a while. I got a sister that's not doing well. She's having some serious health issues and been dealing with that and some other things. But
man, we're sorry to hear about that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. All right, let's talk about Bryce Young. Here's the thing.
Okay.
I got a point that I got a question for you, Maggie.
Okay.
The one attribute, I don't care what anybody says, there is one attribute that makes a quarterback in the NFL successful or unsuccessful, and that is his ability to read and process defenses on the fly.
Yep.
Everything else after that, arm strength can compensate for it a little bit. Mobility can compensate for it a little bit. I think Bryce Young's exceptional. I think he's exceptional at that as long as he translates his ability to do that in the NFL. He's got an NFL arm. He's mobile. He's a sharp kid. Now, I've got a question for you when it comes to the durability issue. So tell me how much more durable we're talking about, I guess, in prospects of getting hit by a 6'5", 250-pound linebacker.
Yeah.
Or a 230-pound blitzing safety. How much more durable is a dude that is 6'1" and weighs 215 pounds versus a dude that's 5'10"
right.
and weighs 199 pounds?
Dave, probably nothing. I guess I would say, in my view, and it's a great point you bring up, but in my view, unfortunately for Bryce Young, for all the pluses and positives that he has in going for him, he's short and slight. So for those two combination, I like the combination of that to me. And yeah, we could quibble about an inch, a half an inch. Is he 5'10" and a half? Is he 5'11"? Like, honestly, who cares, right? That's just small. But I think the fact that he's short and he's slight, the combo of that bothers me. That doesn't bother me. It would make me nervous. So
are you really debating on whether or not that you would take him in the first round?
I wouldn't take him at all.
Oh, my goodness.
Dave, I'm disappointing you. I can feel it in your voice. I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah,
hey, Dave,
a little bit.
By the way, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, we got a chat room that's like, not a chat room. That makes it sound like it's 1994. I'm sorry. We've got a chat on the side. And everybody in the chat, Dave, is wishing you well, sending their thoughts out to you, sending positivity your way, because ultimately we'll, yakety-yak about sports and we'll disagree, but this is more important. So we're thinking about you.
Well, that's awesome. Tell everybody I really appreciate that. Appreciate you guys. It's good to hear you on the radio. So thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Big Dave, we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, just for consistency, I'm sorry. I'm fat. So did you want the Brown steak Baker Mayfield?
I thought it was a surprise. Wasn't everybody surprised that they took him?
It came out on Monday that he was going to go number one, but right.
But it was good. The whole time it was like Darnold, was going to be one.
Very end, Baker got hot. But, yeah, I mean, did the same things come up in your mind when Baker was drafted?
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. I think it's been more acute since Tua. So I will give you that. Since Tua, and listen, who knows, like the NFL – not exactly, the beacon of consistency. Who knows if we go into next year and they're missing guys getting, hit, and the Dolphins are allowed to say that Tua had a back injury, which we all know is total BS. Maybe they allow this and this was a one-off thing, but that would bother me because now we're talking about, say, for example, Tua, someone who you invested all this in, and now 3 years later, I might be looking for another quarterback.
Yeah, I know, but... Yeah, but that's Tua.
Right, that's Tua.
We need some more case studies, I think.
Well, did you notice, though, that the NFL, there seemed to be a shift after Tua left the field?
I totally agree
with Cincinnati.
that. Yeah. But I do think No, of course. I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And smaller quarterbacks, I understand they seem vulnerable. But I do think that there's concussions are very hard to predict.
Sure.
And there's no consistency, size, weight, whatever. I think they're very hard to predict how the human brain is going to respond. So I don't know. I think that's an interesting take that Tua has changed the conversation. But the teams might say, and GMs might say, well, that was one guy. Listen, we took Kyler Murray, we took Baker Mayfield. We're going to take Caleb Williams next year, who's probably not above 6 feet tall. He's probably 6.
I thought it was well, who knows?
He's listed at 6'1".
6'1", yeah.
He's not big.
No. But you know what? It's like, it's a little beauty in the eye of the beholder. And the guys who you just mentioned, Baker, Kyler, these are not people I'm rushing to give $150 million guaranteed to. Yeah. And ultimately, if I take a guy with the number 1 overall pick, and I'm sorry, did I say $150 million guaranteed? How dare it? What year am I in? $250 million guaranteed is what the going rate's going to be by the time Bryce Young and the rest of these guys get to the point where they can get new contracts. So it's a lot. It's a lot of money for somebody who's small. Let's go to the phones. Mike is in California. What's up, Mike? How are you?
I'm good, guys. How you doing today?
We're doing great. What do you think?
So Maggie, I hate to do this, but for what, usually I agree with you on stuff. This time I disagree with you, and here's why.
Okay.
The league is making it easier and easier and easier to protect quarterbacks and to keep quarterbacks from taking big hits.
That's true.
They are going to roughing the passer on review now. You can barely touch a quarterback these days without getting a flag thrown at you. And I think what you're going to see is more and more that these smaller guys don't have to be the big giants and be as durable as they used to be, because they're just not going to take those hits unless they're scrambling quarterbacks. And he's not a scrambling quarterback. So
no,
I think
you're right about that.
He's going to have the opportunity, I think, to be a lot better than he would have been 10, 15 years ago.
Mike, that's a good point. The league wants these guys healthy. But what's funny about that is that you would agree, Mike, that we're living in that era now, right? Like right now, the roughing the passers become, you can't touch quarterbacks. Like we're living in that era right now. Yes?
Definitely.
Okay. 70 different guys started at quarterback this year. So we're living in that era right now, and they still can't keep these guys healthy, and they still can't keep guys starting in a super consistent way. So, we're living in that protect the quarterback at all costs, and 70 different people started at quarterback this year. It's like...
Yeah, but you also had a lot of quarterbacks where people were putting other quarterbacks in and benching people. You also had a lot of people getting... I still think that, the turf issues and some of the lack of OTAs and the lack of conditioning for some of these players plays a bigger role in that, because it's not been... They weren't a lot of hard hit injuries. A lot of them were soft tissue injuries, hamstrings, and there wasn't always just the collision factor that was thrown into a lot of those. You saw a lot of guys who were no contact out for the seasons. So I think that there's a difference between saying guys going out from concussions or from hard hits and broken ribs.
It's always a mixed bag.
There's a difference there.
Right, yeah. But it's always going to be a mixed bag, right? Because you're right. There is, for every Derek Carr who just got benched because the team wanted to move on, you're going to have, Kyler Murray, or you're going to have a Tua. So,
and
I get it, Mike. Mike, thank you for the call, by the way.
I don't need to point out a ton of big quarterbacks obviously went out. I mean, a lot. Ryan Tannehill's gigantic, and he got hurt. Everybody gets hurt.
Ryan Tannehill also is looking at the very end of his career.
Maybe.
You've already, if you're the Titans, you've already gotten what you could hope to get from Ryan Tannehill.
I would say he's
not someone you're picking right now.
Right, but he was very tall and he got injured. I think he's 6'5". You go through all the list of injuries. All the tall guys got hurt too this year. I mean, Dak's pretty thick dude, and he broke a finger.
Well, not all the tall guys didn't get hurt.
Well, a lot of them did. I mean, there's a lot of injuries this year.
No,
Trey is huge.
Yeah, but he's going to be a running quarterback. It's going to be different,
Well, he just, on the second play, it was the stupidest thing ever. He had a 2-yard run on the second play of his second start. I don't know. I feel like big quarterbacks get hurt as well.
Well, they all get hurt, and I think that's what it shows. So what can I possibly do to mitigate this? Maybe I'm not mitigating it. Maybe I'm being short-sighted, but that's something I would have to live with. I think
one thing you could do is don't call design runs, which is always tempting.
Well, but if you have Josh Allen, you can do that. Now, Josh Allen could snap his leg into next year. I hope not, knock on wood, but that could happen.
I think the running of Josh Allen is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Well, Lamar Jackson. I mean, and Allen's much bigger than Jackson.
Yeah, I don't think they should be run. Honestly, I think they run Jalen Hurts too much. They definitely run Lamar too much.
Yeah.
But Lamar, a lot of it is scrambling. It's not design runs. But that RPO, I would not pull Lamar out. they really want to get their value in Lamar, they got to stop all the runs.
By the way, major drama going on with the Ravens today. We'll get to that. Spilling over to social media. Jay is in Alabama. Our pal. What's up, Jay?
What's going on, y'all? Really, I think the whole thing about Bryce, I think everybody's overthinking it, as we do when it comes to draft time every year. I don't think Bryce is not the problem, whether he's durable or not. That's not the problem here. We know these GMs, which I like every year. It's like, what are you thinking? Like, why would you waste that pick like that? All these GMs, like, I don't know what are they thinking about, but they just think they're the biggest genius, and I want to make that pick that makes me go down in history. Is like, dude, those don't happen all the time. If I have a team that does not have a good line, I don't care if I had a 300-pound quarterback. I'm not drafting. I'm not wasting my draft pick on anybody if I can't protect him. So it's like, it's priority first.
Yeah.
If I got a bad line, I'm not wasting it on somebody like Bryce. And I heard another caller say that Bryce is not a scrambling quarterback. Well, everybody in the state of Alabama knows different, and that's what frustrated everybody down here. Is we know he is a ninja. Like, when it comes to that, for some reason, he was trying to hone his skills this whole time here by staying in the pocket and proving he can do that. He was thinking about the next level the whole time he was here at Alabama. But everybody in Alabama knows that dude will, like, I mean, you ever seen that movie, The Prestige? I mean, he will do something freaky like that. Hey, also, I watched your movie, but I had to turn it off halfway through because we had a whole bunch of tornado warnings. It was nothing but sirens. It was like we were in Tel Aviv and the Palestinians were coming or something.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I hope you guys are all safe over there.
Yeah, everybody's cool. This is what we do. People live in Tornado Alley. We live in the armpit of Tornado Alley, so we're used to this.
The movie was called The Strays.
Yes.
Yes.
And it was creepy that, like, the first part we saw, they seemed like the kind of family go over the house, and after about 10 minutes, it's like, yeah, I think it's about time for us to go. You know what I mean? But that's all I wanted to say. I know other people wanted to talk, and plus I got somebody tapping on my window right now. I'm at work, but
all right.
Good to hear from y'all again.
See you, Jay. Thank you. Thanks.
It's a good point. Bryce Young had 162 rushing yards in 34 games and 27 starts. Yikes.
Well, he did have his shoulder hurt last year, so maybe you're trying to protect him a little bit more.
But he moves around and he stays behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Oh, man, his stats. College football stats are the funniest thing ever.
They're ridiculous.
I love everyone saying Justin Fields can't throw. The dude threw 41 touchdowns and 3 picks in a season. Can you imagine having a 41-3?
I know, but he had like a professional wide receiver group in college.
Still, yeah. I mean, I don't think Stroud ever got. Actually, Stroud had the same thing. They said Bryce Young had 47 touchdowns and 7 interceptions his Heisman year. He threw 47 touchdowns.
Crazy. And honestly, he didn't even really cement the Heisman until the Iron Bowl.
Well, who was in second?
Will Anderson.
Who came in second behind Bryce? It wasn't Will Anderson, was it?
I mean, you could have made a case for Will Anderson, but
the last 2 Heisman classes have not been strong. So
was it Aiden Hutchinson? No, that was this year.
Might have been so 2021. Trevor was probably second.
That makes sense. But he was hurt. 855-212-4 CBS.
Trevor was in the pros.
No. He would have been there. Yeah, he was already
draft off.
He was already with Urban Meyer. It was Aiden Hutchinson. I was right all along.
He was second.
Just come on the air and say it. Pickett was third. You can just open up your mic and just tell us who was second.
Oh, it was Aiden Hutchinson.
I was right.
Nice. There you go.
Ding, ding, ding.
What was it close?
No. Bryce Young, 2,311 points. Aiden Hutchinson, 954 points. 684 first-place votes for Bryce and only 78 for Aiden Hutchinson. Kenny Pickett was third. C.J. Stroud fourth. Will Anderson fifth.
Okay.
Yeah. So all those guys, some of those guys are really good pros. Why can't Bryce be a good pro, Maggie?
Yeah. Are all Heisman Trophy winners good pros? You want to talk about Johnny Manziel? That is not, obviously, Bryce Young. 855-212-4 CBS.
By the way, very small, though.
Yeah, he was small. I mean, he had a million other things going on. Okay. We will get an update on the peanut butter. I swear we're going to do this. I did not mean for this to go this long, now that it Perloff. We got sidetracked with actual sports. We'll get to the update on the Perloff Peanut Butter Challenge. Also, one major obstacle holding back a title contender. We'll get to that in a second after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio.
flag.
Just a day after being charged with reckless driving and racing, Jalen Carter back in Indy at the scouting combine. He was released after posting $4,000 bail. Jerry Richardson, who brought the Carolina Panthers into the NFL only to sell the team amid allegations of workplace misconduct, has died at the age of 86. The Sixers were able to win last night without Joel Embiid and now continue their road trip in Dallas, and the status of their big man uncertain once again due to a sore foot. Philly is 4.5 games off the lead in the East. The start to the second half hasn't been an easy one with games against the Grizzlies and Celtics, and now their road trip began last night in Miami and now is a back-to-back. And with 21 games left, head coach Doc Rivers is trying to figure out how to keep everyone fresh and healthy.
It's a little more difficult late because early, if this was early in the year, you would rest guys way more, because you want to get through the year. In the second half, you're really trying to ramp guys up more, and that's a tougher task when you have the amount of games we have.
David Pastrnak got his long-awaited extension from the Bruins, 8 years, $90 million. Boston also acquired Tyler Bertuzzi from the Red Wings for a pair of draft picks. I'm Rich Ackerman.
It's Bill Ryder. CBS Sports Radio has moved to Sirius XM channel 158. Or listen to us on your local affiliate. Find your station at Odyssey.com/stations.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. The show has been taken over by this salacious murder trial that's going on. The Murdochs?
Yeah, I watched the documentary on Netflix last night, Alec Murdaugh. Yeah, it's one of those documentaries where you think to yourself, this has to be scripted. This can't really happen in real life. It's
seems
unbelievable.
like the jury should come back with a verdict in like 5 minutes.
Yes, but I've read a couple things. I don't believe they have the weapons. I'm sorry, I'm not an expert.
No, they don't have the murder weapons.
And they don't have a witness. So
sorry, for people getting caught up, you probably heard about this. This guy was in a lot of trouble financially, had some drug issues, allegedly, all this stuff. Allegedly murdered his wife and his son.
Right, and there were several other suspicious deaths linked to this very powerful family in South Carolina.
Yeah.
And he also had these financial crimes that he admitted to, kicked out of his law firm. It is a made-for-Netflix story. I mean, it's tragic.
Almost like it's written for the eventual Netflix special.
And I think I heard there was an HBO special as well. I mean, there's a whole industry. There's a great Saturday Night Live skit. Again, I'm sorry to make fun of this. This is a very serious story where there's a woman who's sitting at home and she's just watching murder documentaries on Netflix, and the husband, and she's like not sad. She tells her husband, go out drinking with the guys.
Yeah.
And then she secretly starts watching these murder documentaries. He comes back and catches her, and he goes, you think those are good? I got to get you into the cult documentaries.
Oh, God.
Those are just as good.
You can't even...
Murder documentaries are great, but I think the cult documentaries give them a run for their money.
Yeah, people are obsessed. Okay.
Yeah.
We've got to get to the peanut butter challenge.
Yes.
Now, full disclosure, we'll just take everybody behind the curtain here. Perloff was extremely excited about doing this today, which was... Perloff is going to eat an entire jar of peanut butter, and we are going to give you the whole show to do it.
Absolutely. And I was not scared of this. I thought it was easy. I could probably knock it out in an hour.
You thought you came in, confidence was so high, you were skipping to the grocery store last night. You couldn't wait to pick out a peanut butter.
Then it got complicated.
Then the fact that we work for a big company with a lot of departments and levels, they caught wind of this.
Yeah, so our boss, Spike Eskin, saw on social media what was happening, and he came up to us. He's like, Perloff's going to eat a jar of peanut butter on the show? We're like, yeah, does that sound awesome? And he's like, yeah, I mean, you have to clear this stuff. There's a legal department. There's other concerns here.
Yeah.
So now we're caught up in red tape.
So, I mean, honestly, bad job by us. We should have known better. So apologies to Spike because it puts him in an awkward situation. So, unfortunately, the bureaucracy of this wonderful company.
You can't just wolf down a jar of peanut butter on live YouTube and radio without somebody official sort of signing off on this. So
honestly, like, our bad. We just thought we could do this. We weren't trying to sneak one by anybody.
Yeah, there were some immediate questions. One, someone asked, do I have a nut allergy? I do not. As far as I know, I might after this.
You'll develop one.
Are you going to have to get tested, though, before you do?
See what HR says. I mean, that'd be kind of extreme.
The tested for peanut allergy, like do the little shots on your arm. The other question was, does anyone here know Heimlich maneuver or emergency medical care?
No.
Anyone? Stu, you look like a Heimlich guy.
I am not a Heimlich guy, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Look like a Heimlich?
I can learn, maybe.
Which raised the question, can you actually, knock on wood, choke on peanut butter?
I don't want to find that out, and this is, again, why HR had to get involved.
So here's, we used to have, back in the day during the 4th of July, we'd always have a hot dog eating contest person on. Sometimes Joey Chestnut, sometimes one of the other guys. And every time we would have them on, they would have to bring their own medical staff to the interview if they were going to eat a hot dog live on the air.
One hot dog?
Anything. Because, especially if they were going to try to, like, eat it fast, as in eating competition style, you had to have medical personnel on hand. So it's possible when it comes to this peanut butter challenge. I don't know if you can choke on peanut butter, but we might actually have to have, like, somebody on hand, either with an EpiPen or some sort of a medical professional who can do the Heimlich.
An EpiPen?
If there is an allergy that you're not aware of, I don't know.
You love peanut butter, so I think we can rule out the allergy part of this. I think everyone, listen, there's just a lot of lawyers.
But we don't know. There might be other people who work here who have peanut allergies that this could impact.
All right, Perloff has opened up the. No,
we're doing the test right now. This is not
but this is not the. This is not the peanut butter challenge.
This is not the peanut butter challenge, but I'm doing the test to prove that I'm not allergic to nuts now.
I'm not taking part of this.
I don't know. They asked us not to do this today.
I'm not allergic to nuts. This is the most ridiculous thing ever.
Somebody else might be, and you opening that into that room could be a problem.
We're not in some bougie preschool here. I'm allowed to open a jar of peanut butter.
This isn't summer camp, okay? It's an office, I thought.
I'm washing my hands.
Okay.
I'm stepping away.
You're on record saying this is not your problem.
So if I take one bite of this now, I'm not going to eat the whole thing. If I take one bite and do not develop any symptoms of an allergy, then have we at least cleared that hurdle?
I'm
not a lawyer.
You are your own man. You can do what you want to do.
Allergic to peanuts. I cannot believe this is even coming up.
We're not exactly sure what HR and the legal team, what are they looking into? I think you're more along the lines of the Heimlich. But anyway, so we know, though, you're not eating the full jar today.
No. But let's have one bite and see if I have a reaction.
I wouldn't do it.
Why?
Because they asked us not to. You're a rule breaker. You're more of a rebel.
If I have one bite of this and do not keel over.
Dominic is just asking if this is the last episode of the Maggie and Perloff show. It better not be. Are you okay?
That's funny. My lips feel a little numb.
Don't do this. Don't do this. We're all going to get in trouble.
All right, okay. You know who this falls on if anything were to happen? Like, this falls on me.
Definitely you. A little bit me, but probably more you.
I'm pulling this tape that if anyone comes asking, I have this tape on the record.
Okay,
I'm
you're
totally fine. But something just dawned on me.
What's that?
I do not know if I could get through this bottle of peanut butter. Oh, my God.
You were so confident.
It's so dry in my mouth.
You're not backing out.
Okay, so let's, fingers crossed, that everyone from legal, HR, all that stuff comes back and we get the green light. Then we got to start setting some ground rules because we kind of ran into this thing like really fast. And I think there's a couple items that we should go back over. Like, should you be allowed to drink water while you eat this peanut butter?
If I'm not even getting 4 bites in if I can't drink water. Right now, my mouth will barely open from one gigantic bite just to prove I wasn't allergic. This is a mountain we're about to climb.
You have to also coherently host a radio show while you do this.
Stu and I are preparing ourselves to be co-hosts for that.
Get some topics
we're not
ready.
raising the bar.
Show.
I don't normally coherently host a radio show. What's the difference?
Oh, man.
This is... you know what it is?
It's a lot more than you thought,
When you open it up and you take a bite, you realize there's a lot more peanut butter in a jar of peanut butter than you might have thought.
Uh-huh. I told you. I'm like, man, you are feeling really confident about this. You're like, I do this all the time.
What size is that? Is that the large or the small?
How many ounces?
16 ounces.
It's a lot. It's a lot of peanut butter. Also, are we going to give him the whole show, or do we negotiate this because you were talking so tough before? I don't know if you need 3 hours. Okay, we got a lot more to do. Rick Spielman's going to join us next. Do you think he has a thought on this? The former Vikings general manager is joining us from the scouting combine.
Can I add jelly?
All of the negotiations are on the table. Maggie and Perloff. We'll be back in a minute.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
In Pittsburgh, local bowling alley is doing naked night. You got to be totally naked if you're going to bowl. Starts at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which I thought was a little early for all naked bowling.
I'll tell you where that bag is going. It's going over my head, so I don't have to see naked bowlers in Pittsburgh at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Most sports, if you played them naked, would be just gross, right? Bowling, you could kind of tactfully do that.
No. Everything's swinging around there.
It's not the Big Lebowski.
We're going to bowling. I'm competing to win. Clothes or no clothes. I'm not going to just stand there so my junk doesn't fly around.
I can't think of another sport that you could do gracefully or tactfully while naked. Well, I thought of one. Race car driving. Honestly, who would know?
Get away with it, yeah. I had a NASCAR joke about the Bush brothers that I'm just going to leave to the side.
Don't do it.
Here are Maggie and Perloff.
What up, and welcome back to the show. It is Maggie and Perloff on this Thursday. NFL Scouting Combine really getting going today with guys finally doing workouts. And for some insider perspective, Perloff, it is our pleasure to welcome Rick Spielman to the show. Now he's a CBS Sports HQ analyst. Before, he was an NFL GM and was front and center at these scouting combines. Rick, it's Maggie and Perloff in New York. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me on today. I appreciate getting a break from Pete for a change.
Briscoe. I know that guy. Oh, he can only take so much. Okay, so, Rick, Perloff is kind of telling me I'm a little bit in the minority here, and you can tell me if that's true. If I was an NFL GM, Bryce Young's measurables in terms of his height and his weight would scare me off. The fact that he is shorter and he is slight, that would be a no draft for me if my job was on the line. What about you?
Absolutely disagree with you 100%. No disrespect intended at all.
All good.
But I had an opportunity to see him play live twice this year, and he is going to be the exception to the rule, in my opinion. Even though he's a shorter quarterback, he has an uncanny ability to move around in the pocket, to make off-schedule throws, great accuracy at all levels of the field. Believable that wherever he measures, it is probably going to be under 6 feet, that he can see, and he doesn't get a lot of balls batted at the line of scrimmage. So I think if he was 6'2", 210, you would say that maybe he's a generational type quarterback. I don't want to discredit him because he's small. I do know the teams are going to be asking themselves, because of the size, not because of the way he plays, is he going to be durable enough to hold up for a full regular season and hopefully postseason if he's our quarterback?
Rick, have you ever looked when you were drafting quarterbacks or even looking at quarterbacks, is there a huge connection between size and durability? Because we know, I can think of a lot of tall quarterbacks who've gotten hurt as well. Is the weight important, or do we maybe overrate that impact on durability at quarterback?
I think you have to look at their history. And I don't think Bryce Young, I think he missed a game or two this year because of a shoulder injury, but he rarely misses any games. And I think that's because he's pretty unique as an athlete. May not be the fastest as a Kyler Murray or maybe a Justin Fields, but he does have the ability to avoid taking the hits, and he's quick with his reads that he gets the ball out of his hands. And I've seen him take some hits, and a smaller quarterback, you think, no way this kid's going to get back up, but he seems to get back up and bounce back and go on to the next play. So I think when you're trying to measure durability, especially here, you're going to take the physical examinations that they all take. You got to look at their injury history, how many games they have missed. And I think he's a little bit, like I said earlier, an exception to the rule.
Rick Spielman is our guest, a former general manager, now working with CBS Sports HQ as an analyst. Is there any other quarterback that you like as much as Bryce Young in this draft, Rick?
I think it'd be interesting to see if C.J. Stroud, if Will Levis, if Anthony Richardson can close the gap. I think 3 of the 4, I don't think Bryce Young is going to throw from what's been reported, but I think 3 of those 4 guys are going to start jockeying for position on teams' draft boards. I think out of those 3, C.J. Stroud may be the closest to surpassing Bryce Young. I think the reason why I say that is that what you've seen, I saw a little bit of it in a Michigan game when I watched the tape. You started to see him do some off-schedule stuff from the pocket. He's always been very patient in the pocket, almost play by the numbers, where in the NFL today you have to be an accurate thrower, which he is. You have to have a strong arm, which he does have, but you have to make off-schedule throws when things break down and use your athleticism. So that was a big question going into this draft, but then everybody watched them play against Georgia, against an NFL caliber defense, and he made plays with his legs. He made those off-schedule throws. Everything that you were hoping to see during the season, all of a sudden he showed that in the bowl game against Georgia. So I think he's going to close the gap. It'll be interesting to see how this all unfolds over the next couple months before the draft.
We're talking to CBS Sports HQ's Rick Spielman. Rick, I love you on the CBS Pick 6 pod. With Rick is on there with civilians, I'll call them, non-NFL personnel. Yeah. Constantly says, I appreciate your hard work, Rick, which is I know that's your go-to line when you're talking to non-football people. But you're really good on that. Let me ask you, in all your experience at the Combine, has there ever been anything like what's happened with Jalen Carter, the Georgia defensive tackle, left the Combine yesterday to report to an Athens, Georgia police station with 2 misdemeanor charges and his connection to a fatal car crash, then comes back today? You ever seen anything like this, Rick?
No, that was the first time, and I think this is my 32nd Combine, so I've put a lot of years here in Indianapolis, but that was something that I haven't seen before. But from a general manager's perspective, from a front office, these teams, although let's not forget how unfortunate and sad it was for 2 young lives to be lost in that tragic accident, and I think that's the most important thing to remember. But if you want to look at a positive, just from a football perspective, from a front office side, you're glad that it happened here, because now you have a couple of months to get prepared until the draft comes up. If that happened on draft day, teams would have been definitely scrambling. But now they can assess the situation, assess the risk of taking a quarterback. Hopefully everything gets resolved from a legal standpoint before the draft. If not, then that's going to open up some questions on, okay, his trial isn't after the draft. There's going to be other charges pressed after the draft. And if you draft him and he ends up having to do jail time or something like that, which I'm just speculating right now, then how is that going to look on your franchise taking a player, although he may be the most talented defensive player in this draft?
Rick, with the time you would have with Jalen Carter, in theory, he's still there doing interviews today. What are the types of questions that you would ask him if you were sitting in the room, if you were a GM?
Well, you definitely, the first thing you're going to address is hear his side of the story, what actually happened. But where I would be disappointed in as a GM, if I was doing interviews here Monday and Tuesday before the news broke, and I didn't say anything to those teams, and I went about the interviews just like I normally did any other regular interview, then all of a sudden that news breaks, and I would be like, why didn't he mention this before, or even a possibility of this happening? And I always thought that if you are a prospect, an NFL prospect, and you were going through the job interview, I had a lot of respect for guys that knew that they did something wrong and admitted it and told us what his side of the story was, and I appreciated the upfront and honesty. Here it looked like he was playing a little bit hide the ball, but I haven't been in those interviews, but from an outsider's perspective.
We're talking to Rick Spielman, former Vikings GM. You mentioned the timing. Now, you were GM in Minnesota when Laramie Tunsil, that video came out 5 minutes before the draft, him wearing a gas mask. I think most NFL fans know the story. Very different stories, obviously. Nothing like what happened with Jalen Carter. But do you remember your reaction in the room when that was going on? I think you drafted in the 20s then, so you weren't necessarily looking at him. But how do teams deal with that kind of last-minute curveball on draft night?
Well, I think there was a lot of teams scrambling because he was the top offensive tackle coming out in the draft that year. And it's amazing how some of this stuff comes out and the timing it comes out, just like the Jalen Carter, while he's down here when the combine's getting ready to get started. That did not come out until actually on draft day. We started to have meetings about it. We started to talk about what if he slides down to where we're picking, because he was very high on our draft board from a talent perspective. And then, I believe, when Miami took him, then that kind of like you kind of sighed of relief because you didn't have to make that decision. But there were a lot of conversations going on, not only amongst ourselves, our coaches, but our ownership as well. And what direction would we go if he fell to us at our pick?
So interesting now because marijuana is legal in so many states. That story feels quaint, compared to when it happened, which was pretty shocking. Rick Spielman is our guest. Rick, last one for me, and it's one you've probably gotten asked before, but it's Lamar Jackson. I mean, if you are Eric DeCosta, what do you do? Do you give Lamar Jackson the fully guaranteed contract he's reportedly looking for, or do you try to continue to play hardball?
Well, it's a unique situation because when you're dealing in contract negotiations, usually you're dealing directly with the representative or his agent. And you can say things to the agent explaining the team perspective and the team side of the negotiation. In this situation, if I was talking to the agent of Lamar Jackson, hey, you've been hurt the last 2 years, you weren't able to finish the last 2 years, we're willing to pay you what it takes to be paid as a top quarterback in this NFL, but we're not going to go to a Deshaun Watson deal where it's fully guaranteed because, as you see last year, Russell Wilson and all those other guys did not get fully guaranteed contracts. Now, what will be interesting is you definitely have to franchise him because if he's not your quarterback, who's going to be your quarterback? If you have one, you better love the one you're with. But when Burrow comes up, when Herbert comes up, when all these other contracts start coming in, it'll be interesting to see if they're fully guaranteed or if those guys sign a contract that's not fully guaranteed. Then I think Baltimore Ravens and Eric DeCosta has the advantage and leverage to do that and stick to their business principles and give him a fair deal that he deserves, but not fully guaranteeing that contract.
Rick, would you not be concerned that Lamar Jackson would just not sign the tag and not show up?
Potentially do that, and that could be a situation. And I'm sure when you're in the front office, you're going through all those scenarios. So if we do franchise him, if we can't get a long-term deal done, if he does hold out, then what's our option B? So you better make sure that you have option B in place in case that scenario plays out.
Rick, have you ever eaten 16 ounces of peanut butter in 1 hour?
Boy, no, I don't. I love peanut butter, but I don't think I've eaten 16 ounces of it in 1 hour.
It's going to be hard. Perloff has talking very, very tough about doing the peanut butter challenge, which he invented and created.
Yeah, I promise I'd eat a whole jar of peanut butter, which is something I think Bryce Young should do right before his weigh-in. But you are a peanut butter fan. Did you ever do just spoon straight to peanut butter, Rick?
Oh, yeah. No, I put peanut butter on everything. I put peanut butter on my English muffins in the morning. I put peanut butter on my bologna sandwiches in the afternoon. I love peanut butter, but I do have something to wash it down. So that is a critical piece that's missing in this challenge. Is he allowed to have milk on the side to wash down the peanut butter chunks?
Everything is on the table. We're negotiating everything right now, which I think you would appreciate as a former GM. All negotiations are happening. Wait a minute, bologna sandwich with peanut butter?
Oh, unbelievable sandwich.
All right.
A lot of protein on that sandwich. And if you put peanut butter, honey, and banana sandwich on toast, that is an outstanding sandwich as well for those peanut butter lovers out there.
Our producer does peanut butter and raw onions. That's a bridge too far for me.
Yeah, I don't know if I would challenge him and then your peanut butter challenge.
Yeah.
Or be seen in public, for at least a good couple hours. Rick, can't tell you how much we appreciate your perspective and your expertise. Enjoy the rest of the scouting combine. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks for having me on.
Appreciate that. All right.
Well, yeah.
Bologna and peanut butter.
Yeah, no, that's so interesting. What was Elvis's famous
Peanut
sandwich?
butter and banana.
Peanut butter, banana, and fluff, or just peanut butter and banana?
What's it called? Fluffernutter?
Yeah.
Fluff and peanut butter?
I think you're right. I think it was peanut butter and banana, which is pretty
Do you think Fluff
tame.
existed when Elvis was around? How old's Fluff? Actually, you know what?
No, I think Fluff was big in the
has probably
50s.
been around. I bet Fluff's been around since like the Great Depression or something.
No, you're right. It's banana and peanut butter for Elvis, which seems kind of. He also often put bacon on there, which sounds just amazing.
Yeah, you're into that.
Oh, where was it? L.A. that we had the fancy peanut butter sandwiches? I'm totally into that. Bacon. I could put bacon on anything, just like Rick Spielman could put peanut butter on bologna.
Yeah, on his bologna sandwiches. Yeah, I don't get it.
I would. First of all, does anyone eat bologna past the age of 11 anymore?
That wasn't going to be my follow-up question, but I felt like we kept him a little too long.
Yeah, and also, I think you come off as a little bit. You eat bologna?
Yeah, no judgment.
Well, also, you've been around Rick. He's in much better shape than I am, at least.
Yeah, both of us combined.
He's a very healthy-looking guy, so it's not hurting him.
Definitely not. Ugh. Yeah. Anyway, all right, we're still trying to get it through a lot of legal and HR about whether or not Perloff can even do this peanut butter challenge. The idea that we're going to have to negotiate all these things is really just because we're hoping and praying.
I'm also curious if people out there have strange peanut butter sandwiches. It sounds like everybody has been doing this. Peanut butter and onions is the grossest thing I ever heard. But
the peanut butter and bologna took me off by surprise. Took me off guard. I guess.
Can I put
call
bacon
in or tweet in with your what is the weirdest thing you put peanut? What's the weirdest peanut butter sandwich you have? Yeah.
If I do the peanut butter challenge, if it gets approved, can I put bacon inside the peanut butter?
Again, all on the table. It's weird to me you'd want to eat more.
Yeah.
It's like you're adding things.
No, but I took a couple bites of Skippy today just to make sure that I wasn't allergic to peanuts, which is insane, by the way, because if I was...
You'd be dead. You would have been dead years ago, apparently. Apparently you eat all this peanut butter.
Yeah, I think I had peanut butter 3 days ago when I survived. It was so dry. That was a problem. I definitely need to drink. I think Rick was right. Milk might be in play.
I mean, that's up to you. Well... I guess it's up to all of us. And then how much milk? Do we allow you just unlimited milk?
No, I think that in order to make the milk acceptable, we have to have a finite amount that he can drink.
Right, because then you have to, it'll be up to you how you ration out the milk.
Then this is a totally different ballgame here, right? I think the challenge is to fit that much in your stomach. It's not to keep your mouth dry. Oh, man.
Yeah, fair. I don't know. Now that we've had a day to kind of take a breath and really think about this thing, now our minds are going crazy with all the possibilities.
Also, again, I don't want to sound elitist, but who drinks real milk anymore? Everything's almond milk, oat milk,
I'll
soy
bring in
milk.
some oat milk. That's fantastic.
Yeah, oat milk is the thing now.
And let's also not forget, we're talking about this like a foregone conclusion. We might not be able to even do this on the air, so let's not even.
Well, maybe we should tell HR that we're including milk or some sort of safety process here.
Yeah, I mean, we could tell them that.
Do we have those shockers, the things?
A defibrillator?
Yeah, do we have a defibrillator? That's actually a real question.
We do have them somewhere on the floor, yes.
I think we have to, yeah.
Do we have to alert the fire department that this is going on?
I'm sure the fire department in New York City has nothing better to do on a random whatever day that this gets approved than to watch out for your peanut butter challenge.
Should we have my buddy Dr. Rock Positano come up as a medical staff?
He's an ankle guy. He doesn't know anything about throats and peanut butter.
But he's a great guy.
Foot and ankle doctor.
He's a great guy. He's been texting me updates on what's really going on with LeBron's foot.
Can we get a little of Dr. Rock's diagnosis?
We could come back to that. Yeah.
Aaron Pierce is in the chat. My grandfather does peanut butter, mayonnaise, and cheese sandwich.
Oh,
gross.
No.
Peanut butter?
None of those three things belong together.
Well,
None of those three things belong together.
Mayonnaise and cheese, if you had turkey and lettuce, that would make sense.
Maybe, but just mayo and cheese, no.
How about Rudy
mayo and cheese sandwich sounds amazing.
Yeah,
I've done that many times.
Wait, Rudy?
But if you had turkey, mayo, and cheese.
Turkey, yes, but you need to have the buffer of the turkey.
You're saying just a sandwich with cheese and mayo wouldn't do it for you? That sounds great to me.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not that bad to me. Rudy Banks says peanut butter, mayonnaise, and pickles, iceberg lettuce sandwich. What's up with this peanut butter mayo combo?
I'm telling you, so he's on the right track with the iceberg lettuce because the onions and peanut butter thing, the crunchy with the peanut butter is just fantastic. So you have to add that crunchy element to it.
Kemba's saying you should just go for carnage. Eat the jar of peanut butter and drink a gallon of milk.
See, honestly, the milk would probably be more upsetting to my system than the peanut butter.
And we're keeping the milk industry alive over at my house. My kid drinks straight up 2% cow's milk. Organic.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Try to get him organic stuff just because it's a lot of milk he's putting down.
Yeah.
It's like his favorite thing.
It's funny. Adults drinking milk is not like it was 20 years ago. It seems to be frowned upon.
My in-laws still drink it.
I think most people do. I mean, obviously, the milk industry is doing just fine.
I guess. It's because they don't have to worry about our house. 855-212-4CBS. Excuse me. 855-212-4227. Yeah, Jared in the chat. PB and mayo, no thank you. I'm right there with you. Okay, coming up, maybe we get an update from Dr. Positano about LeBron's foot. That'd be interesting.
A little. I mean, he's not examined him, but he has a strong opinion that I'll share next segment.
He's got thoughts. Okay, we like that. Also, man, we got major drama. What drama do you like better, Perloff? Can I interest you in Ravens drama or Dallas Cowboys drama?
I like both.
Okay, well, we'll get to both. I can't decide. I got two teases here. I wasn't sure which way to go. Oh, boy. Now people are starting to call in with the weird sandwiches.
Oh,
that too.
no.
This cannot be.
Oh, this is going to ruin my appetite.
All right, 855-212-4CBS. It is Maggie and Perloff. Don't move an inch. We are on CBS Sports Radio across the country, our great affiliates. We're also streaming live, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. So, Rick Spielman, former Vikings GM, currently CBS Sports HQ analyst, said he puts peanut butter on bologna.
Yeah.
And eats peanut butter with every meal. He still didn't want to eat an entire jar of peanut butter like I will have to do on the show at some point if we could clear the red tape.
Yes.
But the peanut butter and bologna, I think that caught you by surprise.
I did. It definitely did. We'll get to some Cowboys drama, some Ravens drama in just a moment. But Bob is in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Bob, if this is real, this is gross.
It is real, and it's real gross. This goes back to my dad when he was young, and I remember he said some of the stuff that peanut butter and banana, no big deal. You know what one of his favorites were? Peanut butter and sardines.
Here's what I don't understand about the peanut butter and the sardines. It's both it's salty. They're both salty. Usually,
I used to be in the Coast Guard. Maybe that's why.
There you go. That's just a life on the sea.
No, it's my grandfather would have weird combinations like that too. I think
It's like
back
the
in
Great Depression.
Back in the day, they would slap anything onto anything as long as it had enough salt and fat. So I'm not shocked by this at all.
My grandfather used to eat salami sandwiches with mustard, though. I felt like that was normal to me.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that in 40 years since you guys started talking.
Yeah, I know. The old peanut butter and sardine combo, not finding that on many fancy restaurants. But you know what? Everything's cyclical, Bob. So maybe it comes back around.
Man, not to me. It ain't going to be happening to me. I can tell you that right now. So, anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that I'd get into your grossness. I'll call you back another day, all right?
Sounds great. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that. Here's Adam. He's in California. Adam, what are you putting peanut butter on? What kind of burger?
Hey, guys, there's a local brewery where I live. My wife and I went there for dinner one night, and I wasn't too sure what to get, and she was looking on the menu, and there was a bacon cheeseburger with Goober's peanut butter and jelly on it, so she dared me to get it. I was highly skeptical, but after the first bite, that's the only thing I ever order from there from now on.
Really? Wait a minute. Is the Goobers where it's the peanut butter and the jelly in the same jar?
Yep.
That always seemed like such a luxury as a child.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, man, they've thought of everything. They are geniuses.
So if you guys ever get down to Turlock, California, go to Dust Bowl Brewery and try it.
Wait a minute. What's the name of the city?
Turlock, California.
Can you spell it?
Turlock.
Turlock.
We're calling Kaepernick's from.
Okay. For a second, I swear, I thought you were saying Perloff, California. I'm like, there's no way there's a place called Perloff. How are we not doing the show from there? Okay, Adam, we'll put it on the list. Thank you so much.
All right.
Have a good one. Sorry.
Wait.
You would order that at a pub.
Yeah, that sounded actually pretty amazing.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting to know your eating habits more that we've traveled now a lot together, and I think you would order that.
Did he say, no, I'm still confused. Was it Urlock or Turlock?
Well, where's Kaepernick from?
Yeah, I'm looking. Kaepernick, yeah, he's from Nevada, right? Somewhere.
Well, he went to Nevada.
Okay. I thought he was from Nevada.
No, he's from California.
He's from California?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Where's he from? So he was born in Milwaukee.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, there's not much on his high school plays on his Wikipedia.
I thought he said Turlock.
I think it's Turlock with a T.
Yeah.
I looked it up just now. It's a city in California, so I believe that's the one he's talking about.
Would he have known about the view from the Jack in the Box? Yeah, Turlock.
Turlock, okay.
We see this city at Turlock. It's
There
in
you
the
go.
heart of California's Central Valley.
Wow, it's so funny. There's so many quarterbacks from around there. Isn't that near Fireball, where Josh Allen's from?
Fireball, you mean?
Oh, Fireball.
You
Sorry.
said
Fireball does sound delicious. I might have to have a few of those after the show today.
Wash down the peanut butter with a little Fireball. Now, every college town in America will be asking you for that. Let's go, before we get to the drama here with the Baltimore Ravens, Chai's in Pennsylvania. Okay, tell us about your weird peanut butter sandwich, Chai.
Hey, it's peanut butter, mayonnaise, and tomatoes.
Yeah, Chai, explain to us why peanut butter and mayonnaise together?
Well, you use peanut butter on the one side, mayonnaise, like mayo on the other side, and a tomato in between. Man, it sounds disgusting, but it's really good.
Actually, I'm into that one.
Really?
Yeah,
well, I like tomatoes on anything. I like mayonnaise on anything, and I think I now like peanut butter on anything.
I don't even like mayonnaise except for like on a turkey sandwich or something, but it kind of works if it's just light mayo on one side and a little bit of peanut butter on the other side and some sliced tomatoes in the middle.
Wait.
Good stuff.
All right. I'll take your word for it, Chai. Thank you so much. We've seen a few mayonnaise and peanut butter combos.
Well, that's kind of funny. He goes, I don't really like mayonnaise except on things like a turkey sandwich. Yeah, that's the primary purpose of mayonnaise.
Well, you don't know. Maybe he's going to Paris and eating them on his French fries.
Oh, now that I'm 100% down with.
Yeah, a little mayonnaise and French fries. It's super decadent. We got to get to the Ravens because this is the kind of drama that you generally don't see coming, Perloff. And that is when Eric DeCosta, the general manager of the Ravens, do we have that? Let's hear where he was asked, why do they keep missing on drafting receivers in the first round?
If I had an answer, that means I would probably have some better receivers, I guess. We keep trying. We've never really hit on that all-pro type of guy, which is disappointing. But it's not for lack of effort. It's one of those anomalies that I really can't explain other than to say we're not going to stop trying.
Okay, I mean, listen, I can understand why that might rub the wide receivers you do have on your roster the wrong way. And Rashad Bateman, who has shown promise, Perloff, but is not an all-pro receiver, he responded on Twitter by tweeting, how about you play to your player's strength and stop pointing the finger at us and number 8, meaning Lamar Jackson. Blame the one you let do this. We take heat 24/7 and keep us healthy. Care about us, all caps, and see what happened. Ain't no promises, though. Tired of y'all lying and capping on players for no reason. Bateman then deleted the tweet about 40 minutes later before posting, my apologies. Good luck. Good try. Good try to save it. Listen, that's a lot. That's a player who feels like things are seriously wrong in the organization. Tell me if I'm reading too much into this. Seriously mad at management, strength and training staff, and maybe you can read into this John Harbaugh, maybe Greg Roman, the former offensive coordinator who's now gone. I mean, this is someone lashing out.
Totally. But does Rashad Bateman, do you need some clout to lash out?
He's a first-round pick.
Yeah, how old is he, though? And how many games has he actually played in the NFL? Wasn't he hurt last year?
Yeah, well, that was a problem.
That's sort of, right. I just think that he might be a little young for us to take so seriously.
Well, but think about it, right? Again, does that someone who feels like they're so frustrated because clearly he thinks this happens a lot, right? He's saying, stop pointing the finger at us and Lamar. You know, we take heat 24/7.
Okay, he's played 19 games in 2 years. Mm-hmm. What's he have to do with Lamar? And why? So is he saying that DeCosta is giving a lot of heat to Lamar?
I think that listen, I think this shows that players probably don't appreciate either that Lamar is dangling out there where he's about to be franchise tagged and would be on a 1-year deal, which is, not how you treat franchise quarterbacks, at least ones that you claim that you want.
Unless they ask for $250 million guaranteed.
Listen, two to tango, right? They probably think, as the players, they probably want to see him get paid. Ironically, would probably take a little money out of their pockets, but they want to see a teammate get paid. And I think that he's saying the Ravens themselves never get any criticism. Why are the players the ones always getting criticized when he's alluding here that there's a lot going on behind the scenes?
Honestly, though, I think his feelings were hurt.
Yeah.
By DeCosta saying that, and that actually is not the nicest thing to say. I don't know. DeCosta probably didn't think that one out. But then again, the media thinks the same thing, right? That their first-round picks have been wasted.
Well, I mean, to your point, Bateman hasn't played a full season.
Yeah, and Hollywood Brown wanted out and didn't really produce at a high level. So, yeah, their first-round picks have not hit. I don't know why DeCosta answered it that way. That was not very classy.
Again, so, maybe, the Ravens always put out this, on the outside, Super buttoned up, well-run organization. Everyone always loves their drafts. If you trade with the Ravens, you always feel like they're getting the better end of the deal. They have
they're smart. They've won for a long time.
Exactly. They're always in it. They don't go through these dips of down years where, they're really bad or bottoming out. They're known as a well-run organization. I'll be honest with you. The NFL Players Association, they put out their report cards yesterday where they surveyed 1,300 players and then assigned grades to different things. The strength staff got an F-.
Yeah, and they fired their trainer this offseason. All that being said, that NFLPA list just strikes me as so odd because so many winning teams are in the bottom 10.
I know.
The Chiefs are in the bottom 5. The Patriots are in the bottom 10. The Bucks, who won, are 26. The Rams are 27. So obviously has no connection with winning, how you quote unquote treat your players.
Well, and it's like things like weight room.
Yeah, well, you would think those would make a huge difference. I guess they don't.
When I did the show with Bart Scott, one thing that he used to say was in his off seasons and stuff, he would always get his own trainer because he's like, the team does this sort of one size fits all on everybody.
Oh, of
and
course.
He's like, I want someone who's specifically here just to work with me. And so he didn't even use really their strength and conditioning coaches. At least that's how he made it seem.
I mean, listen, if you're really going to talk about where the Ravens stand, they're the only team that drafted Lamar in the first round. Everyone else had a shot at him, didn't think he was good enough. The Ravens did. So you can't say that they've been consistently hating on Lamar Jackson. That feels me. If he'd said, I think the offense put Lamar in a bad position, that's one thing. But he's not clearly saying that. Is that how you read this? The offense really didn't help Lamar in any sense?
Well, that's why I think it's fascinating to see what could Lamar look like with a different offensive coordinator. Greg Roman is known to be a running guy.
Right. I mean, he won an MVP.
Yeah, no, it definitely worked for him for that season. But now it's about more than that. Even you would agree, right? Now it's about making a run in the playoffs.
For Lamar Jackson, now I think it's 100% about the money. I don't think he's looking at it. What's the most successful?
No, I'm talking about what's to accomplish.
Yeah. I mean, of course, he has to win more than one playoff game, but I don't think he's looking at that right now. I think he wants that $250 million.
I think he does too.
And I'm not sure. I mean, he's going to have to negotiate a little bit here, right? He's not going to get that, is he? Or is he? I'm asking you.
Ultimately, I think he's going to get close. I think he's going to get close to it.
In Baltimore?
Who, Lamar?
Yeah.
With the money?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to give him $250 million guaranteed.
I bet he ends up with a guaranteed, but I bet it's not $250.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I would say make a show bet, but you're already eating a jar of peanut butter just on your own free will.
I think the team will say, okay, let's finally settle around $200 million. This will all go away, right?
And I think he'll eventually sign it.
Yeah, $200 million, which is fine.
Yeah.
We're up at some of the guarantees are 170, 180 already. Just keep going up 10%. Just don't try and do Deshaun. Deshaun Watson was 230. So, yeah, I mean, we're getting into a bigger issue here. But Rashad Bateman was clearly, if that guy had not said anything about the first round bust, he never would have come out against the organization.
GM didn't say anything.
Yeah, if Eric DeCosta had not come out and said, I can't find good receivers in the first round, he wouldn't have
lashed out like that.
Do you think he would have?
But in his, listen, yeah, because that's what happens. He got triggered by this, and he lashed out. So that's how now maybe it's a little bit more things are maybe a little more rotten than we thought.
For him.
For the organization, for the offense, I don't know. The defense seems like they're doing fine.
I just don't think, honestly, they can't draft anybody. I'm looking at the other guys. They drafted Rashad Bateman, bust. Marquise Brown, bust. Hayden Hurst is actually playing well now, but he didn't do anything for them.
Yeah, not on their team.
Yeah, he was a first-round pick. So all their offensive first-round picks are not good. All their defensive first-round picks are awesome. So there you go.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Coming up, you can keep your odd peanut butter sandwiches coming, although it is making some people feel pretty sick in the chat. Which is funny because according to this chat, you guys aren't exactly saints with the stuff you're putting in your body. Maybe a couple peanut butter sandwiches wouldn't kill everybody. The Weedos, the purple drinkers.
Surprised they're not having the munchies for the peanut sandwiches.
Seriously. Coming up, Perloff goes against the grain on the one move an NFL team should make immediately. Nobody's thinking about this, except for the mind of Andrew Perloff. Get to that right after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports flag.
Well, Jalen Carter returned to the scouting combine in India a day after turning himself into police on charges of reckless driving and racing in connection with the accident that had 2 fatalities. The Buccaneers, over the cap by a lot, will reportedly release tight end Cameron Brate, and former Panthers owner Jerry Richardson has passed away at the age of 86. The Warriors have come on after a rough start and have moved into a tie for the 5th spot in the West with the Clippers. Those 2 teams will meet tonight in the Bay Area. Golden State has won the last 3. The Clippers have dropped 3 straight, and 2 of those going into overtime. Head coach Ty Lue said his team needs to cut down on turnovers.
You got to get guys used to playing with one another, but we just can't have the careless turnovers. You know, those are the ones that kill you. And we had it under control for a while, but now we got to get it back. And so, you know, what we got to do going back to the drawing board, or, you know, starting from, you know, basketball one-on-one. We just can't have those kind of turnovers.
From college basketball, top-ranked Houston will host Wichita State tonight, while 4th-ranked UCLA, unbeaten at home, takes on Arizona State. The Boston Bruins have signed David Pastrnak to an 8-year extension worth $90 million. Boston also acquired Tyler Bertuzzi from the Red Wings for a pair of draft picks. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Need a morning show that keeps you entertained and informed? Then it's DA, Damon Amendolara, 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Been a fun day. Still waiting on powers that be here at our company, Odyssey, to see whether or not they will sign off on Perloff doing a Perloff peanut butter challenge, which we have since trademarked, just in case.
What if they make us do it off-site? Sort of a, an underground peanut butter challenge. like Fight Club. The first rule of the peanut butter challenge is there is no peanut butter challenge.
I know. We would get kicked out of the club.
Me with a spoon in a dark basement.
Tyler Durden.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt's there. It's
going
weird.
on.
Yeah.
And a jar of peanut butter. But now we're getting the Aaron Rodgers darkness room situation.
Do you think he had a jar of peanut butter in there with him? He might have.
I don't know.
He said it was like basically a plant-based diet. We know what it did to his digestive system.
Yeah.
Because he told us. Let's go to Andy, who's in Syracuse, New York. Fine city. Andy, what's up?
Hi. I was intrigued. I'm a peanut butter junkie, so I was intrigued by the proposal. And just as an aside, and not that it counts against me, but I'm an employment attorney, so I appreciate the concerns that your HR department has as far as working through this. But
Andy, I might need to hire you since you are a peanut butter enthusiast, and I'm running into a wall here.
He didn't tell us what side he works on.
Management.
See?
Well, yeah, but who knows how to get a management better than somebody who represents the management?
There you go. Sorry, I didn't think of the jujitsu there.
Tricks.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Wait, so Andy, you're an employment lawyer, so what are we looking at here? Like, how can we make this better with our bosses?
Well, I think, the first thing I would say is have him tested to make sure that he has no allergy. And I understand he just had the peanut butter and he's still alive, at least for the moment.
I think I am, yes.
Yeah. But the second, so he could get tested. The second thing I think is the medical, which is your point is well taken, or your colleague, that having someone on hand, you can choke on peanut butter, because I eat peanut butter by the spoonful or larger. And if you don't pay attention, or if you have the wrong type of peanut butter, you could get it stuck in your throat rather readily. So
wow,
and which goes to the type of peanut butter you want. You really should be looking at a natural peanut butter, because there's a lot more oil to it, so it's a lot smoother.
Man, Andy, we should have called you days ago. Like we should have called you yesterday. This could have ironed out all the.
Andy, I had a bite of this Skippy, just a generic regular Skippy, and it felt a little dry.
No. The natural, if you're going for the whole container, you really have to have something a lot smoother. Yeah. I mean, the Skippy is okay, but there are other brands that are a lot smoother, and of course you want to look at whether you're doing the smooth versus the nut peanut butter. But
I gotta be honest, I'm a little bit worried about you, Andy, that you've choked multiple times on peanut butter. What's going on up there in Syracuse?
Also, did you say that you would eat it with a spoon or something bigger than a spoon?
Oh no, I either the regular spoon or the soup spoon.
Yeah,
just kind of for energy purposes.
What about a giant wooden spoon that you serve with? I think that'd be great too.
What is it, cookie dough?
you really don't want to use water. Milk is much better as far as washing it down. The water just doesn't cut it. It just gets, that much more in your throat. It gets stuck. So.
Okay.
You are so lucky that you have access to Andy's mind. He's done all the research for you.
I don't think anyone, including my wife, would believe that. But go ahead.
Yeah. Tell her that.
So anyway, I wish you well. It looks like a great experiment. I think you can do it.
Andy, what about chunky versus smooth? Thoughts?
Well, if you're going for the whole jar, I think I'd go for the smooth.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Andy, we'll let you know. I mean,
please do. I love your show, by the way. I just came across it about a couple months ago, and though I do have to work, so I don't get to listen to all of it. It's a great ride home.
Yeah, this is not a place for excuses. This is a place where we need single jars of peanut butter and a sit-in.
And Andy, thank you. And
good luck.
Thank you. We'll keep everybody updated on when, if this whole thing goes through. I love when people say, well, I've only found you a couple months ago. We've really only been on for like a few months. Yeah. We haven't been on for that long.
I think
so glad to have you.
If I tried to do this much peanut butter chunky, I would shred my esophagus to ribbons with all that chunk. I mean, that'd be dangerous.
That sounds
That's like
so
eating
painful.
glass.
Oh, my goodness.
A chunky? It's crazy.
Alan is in Vancouver, Washington. What's up, Alan? How are you?
Hey, good. Hey, I had to call in on this one. I was hearing all the talk on the peanut butter. So growing up in California, there was a place in Victorville, California, that had a peanut butter pizza. So rather than the sauce, they put peanut butter on the pizza. And it sounds disgusting, and it kind of was, but it was definitely unusual. So this conversation struck a chord. I remember that and just wanted to call in and
wait a minute, Alan, question for you. Was it peanut butter and then also tomato sauce?
No.
Okay.
It was in lieu of the tomato sauce. I'm sure you could have added that, but it was just, the peanut butter, then the cheese, and then all the toppings on the top.
Now, I know Victorville because I saw it in the show Manhunter on Netflix. That is the home of a giant federal prison, correct? Which kind of explains the peanut butter pizza.
I think so. And I just Googled that John's Pizza, and they're no longer in business, which is too bad. But, yeah, it was the only place I've ever found that has peanut butter pizza.
Okay.
Man, maybe if they had just slapped some tomato sauce on it, they'd still be in business.
No, I think that's too much.
Sorry, Alan. Thank you so much for letting us know.
That's a little too much.
Peanut butter with cheese on it and then pepperoni?
I told you about I've told you guys about Yay Toast, right?
It sounds vaguely familiar.
It's a Norwegian cheese that has a very it tastes like peanut butter.
Did we play like a game of Balderdash on the air where you tried to, you said Yay Toast was something that was like an Eberflus?
Yeah. Oh, exactly. It sounds like an IKEA product.
Yeah.
So Yay Toast is often compared to peanut butter. You melt it on things. It has a peanut butter vibe, even though it's technically a goat's cheese from the upper Norwegian peninsula.
Yeah, this all sounds fake. It all sounds made up.
It does. But, I mean, I think a Yay Toast pizza would be, after I down this peanut butter, maybe I'll have some Yay Toast. Or maybe you could try the Yay Toast.
What was the name of the show?
What show?
In Victorville?
Victorville, Manhunter is the, so you know Manhunter, the David Fincher show about Mindhunter or Manhunter, one of those two.
Okay.
Where they interview serial killers.
Oh, no. That's a no for me.
The big scene, the opening scene is in Victorville prison. So the craziest guy of all time is in Victorville. And he goes and he interviews them.
It's like a documentary?
No, it's a, do you guys know the show I'm talking about, right?
Is it scripted?
I might have the wrong name. Manhunter, or it's a great show. Mindhunter.
Mindhunter, okay.
So it's based on a book about the guy at the FBI who came up with the profiling system for serial killers.
Oh.
And season 2, he's the one who solved the Atlanta murders in the 80s. Mindhunter is amazing.
You know, I got to be honest. I don't love prison things. I'm always like, I wouldn't last 5 seconds.
Mindhunter is a huge cult show. People love it.
All right, got to check it out. We got a lot going on here right now. Coming up, Perloff, we got to go against the grain. The one move that a team in the NFL has to make that nobody's thinking about. Perloff has it next.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Anytime the word 13 and seconds is used in the same paragraph, Maggie gets very angry.
Kicker's missing 46-yarders. It happens. Gets the
is that Scott Norwood? Can I ask a Bills question? Sure. Would you rather lose that way than Norwood miss field goal or lose 52-17 to the Cowboys? Which is the preferable way to go down?
Thank you.
I'm genuinely curious.
I'm sure you are genuinely curious.
Because I remember when my Eagles played
for a decade, and you waited till right now to ask me that question.
Well, I just thinking back to the Eagles-Patriots, I didn't get to experience that, so I want to know what it's like as a fan.
I mean, Eagles-Patriots the first time. What's it like when your quarterback pukes in the huddle? Yeah. What is that like? Perloff got me better.
No, I know, but he still stopped me in my tracks. I'm trying to come back. I'm about to cry.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
What up? Welcome to the show. It is Maggie and Perloff. So glad to have you on this Thursday. Okay, before we can get to Perloff's Against the Grain, which he has the NFL move that one team has to make that nobody's talking about, we do have to set up, or still have not heard anything about the peanut butter challenge. Perloff has really just announced to the group that he was going to eat a jar of peanut butter. Now I don't remember even how it started. You were going to eat a jar of peanut butter.
How did this start?
I don't remember.
I had it in my brain how it started the other day. Maybe because Bryce Young had to put on a ton of weight really fast.
Maybe that was it. And you're like, no, I eat peanut butter. I'll eat a whole jar. It's like, that's disgusting. You're like, no, I'll do it. And then here we are with a 16-ounce jar of peanut butter on our set. Now, the problem was we just sort of willy-nilly, Perloff and I get excited about stuff, and we just we just don't run it by anybody or whatever, and we think first and then, ask forgiveness.
I actually blame you because Stu reminded me. It started when we were talking about the Big 12 tournament and the food that they were going to have there, and peanut butter was one of the items or something.
Okay.
So it started from the Big 12 basketball tournament.
Right. They've got a whole new slew of items.
Yeah.
Okay. So Perloff and I, we get excited about something. We're like a, beg for forgiveness rather than ask for permission kind of show. And it got us in trouble this time because our boss, Spike Eskin, saw us on social media saying Perloff's going to eat a jar of peanut butter day. And he's like, guys, what are you doing? Got to run this through HR. Got to run this through legal. So we're at a bit of a standstill right now. And it's given us a minute to just catch our breath and also start negotiating maybe some other terms for Perloff if this indeed goes through. All right, we're all up to speed on what's going on. Let's get to Perloff's Against the Grain.
Against the Grain.
Okay, I'm going to give you 3 trades that have to happen, Maggie.
Oh.
They have to.
Have to.
And I think one of these could. Which I guess is kind of underselling it. But I think this is the first one, and the one that people are killing me for on social media. The Minnesota Vikings are going nowhere with Kirk Cousins, who I love. I'm a big fan of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I had a 20-minute discussion about Disney World with him at the Super Bowl. It's kind of dads we are.
Something tells me his experience at Disney World a little different than yours.
Not that different.
Really?
It's Kirk Cousins.
Wow.
He has $200 million in the bank and drives a minivan. Kirk Cousins has none of the trappings of having any of that money.
Yeah, now that you mention it.
So who needs a quarterback, a veteran quarterback who has a Super Bowl ready team out there?
Lots of teams.
Well, really Super Bowl ready. Really.
Oh, the 49ers. Oh.
The 49ers.
No.
Who does Kyle Shanahan love more than anyone? Kirk Cousins from Washington.
Yeah.
He loves him some Kirk Cousins. It's a classic Shanahan quarterback. So they need a veteran because Trey Lance isn't ready. Brock Purdy hasn't even undergone surgery yet, so we don't know when he'll be ready. Kirk Cousins is obviously a good fit. They're even talking about Matt Ryan there, another Shanahan quarterback. So bringing in Kirk Cousins, great. So you have to trade for him from Minnesota. What do you need to give up? Minnesota has been addressing they have to extend Kirk Cousins to lower his cap number.
Okay.
He's a free agent after next season. So do you really want to extend Kirk Cousins? I don't think that Minnesota is going anywhere. I think they're in NFL limbo, which is a bad place to be. So instead of extending Cousins, why don't you trade him to San Francisco, get Minnesota native Trey Lance, local boy. Then you get, who's only 22, by the way, 2 years in. Then you get a draft pick, and San Francisco has a million defensive players. Get a good defensive player. So Minnesota gets a haul, and San Francisco gets Kirk Cousins. They probably have to renegotiate the contract a little bit, but he's not that expensive. And I think that team, Kirk Cousins in San Francisco, has a chance to go somewhere. I don't see them going anywhere in Minnesota.
Listen, I get why it would make sense from San Francisco's point of view. Like, yes, they would gladly ship out Trey Lance at this point where Lance has been hurt. You have no idea what he is. But I don't think if I'm Minnesota, I don't think I'm going nowhere. Like, they just came off a season where they were 13-4. Now, we know that record was a little hollow, and they lost in the playoffs in embarrassing fashion to the New York Giants at home. But I think they can convince themselves, like, hey, we have Justin Jefferson, so we have the best wide receiver in the NFL. I'm going to extend him. I can't put Trey Lance with him. That's like parking the Ferrari in the garage. Like, we don't even know if Trey Lance can throw on the NFL level.
Well, sign a veteran. Trey Lance is, again, very young. So sign a veteran, do what San Francisco's doing. And
yeah, that market's getting kind of expensive. And who am I getting? Someone who's going to be like Jimmy G? Like who?
A Baker Mayfield type. Indoor. It's not that hard to play quarterback there. Kevin O'Connell's very offense friendly for quarterbacks.
I don't love it from the Minnesota side of things. Love it for San Francisco.
Gosh, it's funny. On Twitter, I put this out to get a feeler.
Yeah.
Every single person was, Minnesota said we would do this in a heartbeat. San Francisco said no thanks.
Really?
Yeah.
But people know about the Shanahan love for Cousins, right? They're very open about it.
Well, I put in Trey Lance, a good defensive player, and a future first.
Well, that's the thing. San Francisco, do they even have a first this year?
They don't this year. Future first.
Future first.
If it was this year's first, it'd be this year's first.
Yeah,
but yeah.
right.
And people thought that was way too much for Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is kind of in a little bit of a spot where he's like a free agent. Like basically everyone's saying, who wants to pay him now?
Yeah, I mean, a first-round pick with Cousins does not seem right.
Yeah, Minnesota's an interesting spot. They were really neutral yesterday about whether they're going to extend him, which they would have to do right now. They're negotiating. 5 more years of Cousins in Minnesota really feels...
It's not 5 more years. They gave him a 1-year deal last year.
Yeah, but they're going to have to extend him now to get that cap number down. I mean, you're committing to Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, but maybe like some dummy year. I get it. Like, I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to win a Super Bowl, but if I'm Minnesota, I probably don't feel like I can take that kind of risk. Okay, what's your second trade?
I don't think Kirk Cousins is signing for 1 more year. I think he's got to sign too, and he's got enough money. Okay, second one, and this one's out there a lot. Jalen Ramsey is probably going to be either traded or I don't think it's going to happen, but he could get cut by the Rams. They're not going to pay him. He's a little bit older. Everybody wants Jalen Ramsey. I mean, my Philadelphia Eagles certainly want him. Your Buffalo Bills want him. I think the most likely scenario, and this isn't, I just think this could happen. I think Jerry Jones is sick of sitting on the sidelines and letting the big names sign everywhere. I think this is the one where he bites.
Wow.
They really need a cornerback. Listen, I'm not making this up. A lot of people are speculating the Cowboys are going to make a move for Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, but everyone puts the Cowboys in everything.
Yeah, they do, but this one makes so much sense because their defense, with Micah Parsons rushing the passer, Trayvon Diggs on one side, Jalen Ramsey would feast in this situation. I think all of a sudden you have a real Super Bowl defense if you have Jalen Ramsey there.
Yeah, I mean, is that the best use of the resources, though, for Dallas?
Say you have to give up a first rounder this year. They're the 24th pick, I believe, and a second maybe next year.
I'm not doing that.
If you're Dallas?
First round pick?
Yeah, first round pick, 24. It's a low end.
I know, but I need a wide receiver. So unless I'm going to the free agency market for a wideout, which I don't know who you're getting there, I think I need to take a wide receiver with that 24.
Is a 24th pick guaranteed of anything, a wide receiver?
Well, I mean, listen, for a while, the best wide receivers are coming from the second and the third round.
Yeah, so take one in the second round. Although you just give up your second round here.
The other thing is Dalton Schultz, like they just franchise tagged him last year, if I'm remembering that correctly. This is supposed to be a very strong tight end draft. I'm not a huge person about taking tight ends in the first round, but you need offensive weapons before I need corners.
You can definitely get a tight end in the third or fourth round, like Dalton Schultz wasn't he a third or fourth rounder?
I know. I'm just looking at areas of need that also match up with this draft. I don't know if I'm doing that for Jalen Ramsey, but you're right. The teams that do want him, like Philly, Buffalo, those are all the teams that are like totally strapped against the salary cap.
It's not just the cap, too. It's how much, I think they're going to want a high draft pick.
Yeah.
They're going to want a high draft pick. So Dallas, I think, is a little higher than Buffalo, definitely higher than Philly.
Yeah.
So I think they have a chance. I think it's going to be a team with an even higher pick, though. They'll get Ramsey. Okay, last one. We got to, and I need your help on this one.
All right.
Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins is the big name on the trade market. Everybody wants Cardinals wide receiver. Nobody thinks he's going to stay there. They don't seem to like each other. Kyler Murray probably won't be healthy beginning of the season. There's no reason for them to be there. So we know the teams who need a wide receiver. Baltimore is top of the list.
Yep.
But this is not a Baltimore move. They don't have the cap space. They don't have the assets. It's not going to happen. It seems like this is not against the grain. This is a popular opinion. The New York Giants and DeAndre Hopkins or the New England Patriots and DeAndre Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's the New York Giants and DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
If you're going to invest in Daniel Jones, you got to help him become a better passer, and that is the easiest way to do it. Not cheap. I am totally making up the salary cap ramifications, but Hopkins and the Giants seems like the best marriage to me.
Okay, I'm surprised you would say this because you have a steadfast rule about wide receivers. And what do you always say?
What?
You don't like wide receivers after they turn 30. You think 30 is the cutoff for wide receivers, and DeAndre Hopkins turned 30 this past June.
Yeah, he's a possession
so
receiver.
He'll be 31. So my other thing about Hopkins, and he's so good, but he played 10 games in 2021, obviously, because he got suspended, and then 10 games in 2021, 9 games this year. Are we sure he's still in his prime is what I'm asking.
I think the market will reflect that. I think you're talking about a second or third round pick for Hopkins.
You might be right. I mean, there's also no other receivers on the market. Basically, the Bengals laughed at people who thought that T. Higgins was going to be available. We'll see what actually happens, and he wouldn't even be a free agent. And Kenny Golladay just got cut. There's not a lot of great names.
It's Hopkins and Cooks. Brandon Cooks, who's on the market every year.
Who has been on how many teams?
He's great, though. I like him as much as I like Hopkins. So here's the thing about Hopkins. Daniel Jones needs a guy who can get an 11-yard catch. He does not need a burner anymore. So I'm okay with an older sort of tight end / wide receiver.
Well, they should also be getting Wan'Dale Robinson back, right? The Giants?
Yeah, who's a different type.
Who knows what he is?
He's a totally different type. But the Hopkins, Daniel Jones needs to start throwing some passes, right? I mean, you're going to pay him all this money.
He is a quarterback. You're right.
He does not throw ever. All he does is takes off. That's his entire game.
Well, let's hear a little bit from the Giants general manager. His name's Joe Shane. He was talking about Daniel Jones and how they're feeling the time crunch here.
Yeah, you're starting to feel the time crunch a little bit. I wish we were a little bit closer on a deal than what we are right now. But again, there's still time. We're going to circle back up again today at some point and meet with his representatives. And again, Daniel played well this year. We'd like to have him back. Again, we have different options in terms of whether it's contract extension or we're utilizing the franchise tag.
Oof. If you're Jones, I mean, they have this sort of hanging over you that they can use the franchise tag. But again, the franchise tag for quarterbacks is $40 million.
Yeah, but that's fine, though.
For 1 year.
Yeah, what I think teams really want to avoid is a long-term commitment, right? $40 million is ridiculous for Daniel Jones. But for 1 year, it's not going to bury the franchise. So you're allowed to negotiate once you sign the franchise tag.
You are. You have until July, I think.
Your number gets pretty big. If you sign that tag, Daniel Jones is going to be like, you're offering me 40 for next year? How about you give me that every year?
Yeah, I would like that for 5 years. Yeah, so, I'm shocked that this negotiation, it's still so early. It's March 3rd. But the idea, we're still far apart. And, I thought this negotiation was, quite frankly, going to go a little more like the Geno Smith in Seattle negotiation, where no one's really saying anything, but it's all positive.
Okay. Although we don't really know what's going to happen there either.
They might draft a quarterback, right? They did say you're not usually in this position, or they hope not to be in this position where they're drafting top 5.
So the tag deadline is next week, right?
Yeah, Tuesday.
And then they have until
July.
Camp, really until camp to sign them. So why not just do that?
Yeah, I mean, this is the one thing you want to avoid if you're a team, though, is that you tag the guy and then the dude doesn't sign the tag, which means he's not showing up to any of your OTAs, any of your off-season stuff.
Well, good thing he's not that good a quarterback, so who cares? You don't think that anybody would sigh relief in New York?
I wouldn't say that in the negotiation.
Do you think Daniel Jones is going to play hardball?
No, but we're talking about teams that need quarterbacks, whether it's bridge quarterbacks or whatever, and we're throwing on the Baker Mayfields and your boy Andy Dalton and stuff. I mean, I think if Daniel Jones went to the open market, I do think he'd have a lot of suitors.
Yeah, but
honestly, and I think Samter's Jets would be one of them.
Andy Dalton's going to get paid $7 million for 1 year.
Well, but Jones would get more. I'm just saying he's going to be you think Daniel Jones is going to get that much less than Derek Carr?
No, but Carr's going to get about 30. But
I think Jones is going to get 30.
Right, but they're going to tag him for sure.
Right.
He's not going to not show up for the tag.
You never know.
Yes, you do.
Well, maybe
Daniel Jones in his pleated khakis is going to be Mr. Player Empowerment.
So all the guys, it's the guys you never see coming. You know, he's got all these Duke business people probably giving him advice. Don't do it. You're worth more.
This is a franchise that didn't even declare their fifth-year option on him. You think that they're not gonna lose an ounce of sleep with you?
I know, but if not Daniel Jones, then who?
Anybody. They just made Daniel Jones into a Pro Bowl level quarterback.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'd be worried that, listen, you're right, Daniel Jones isn't like this awesome quarterback, but I'd be worried about just thinking, oh, I can replace him with anybody.
It's not that. I think you tag him. I don't think he's the guy who's going to all of a sudden...
He looks like a rule follower, is what you're saying?
He wears pleated khakis. He's from Duke, yeah.
I think, are pleated khakis, are they back in?
I don't know.
Were they ever in?
Not the way Daniel Jones wears them. I wouldn't worry about that. Also, he doesn't have... He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not some superstar with all this leverage. I think Daniel Jones has to play ball with the team. He had 15 touchdowns last year.
Perloff at some point is going to, we hope, is going to eat an entire jar of peanut butter. It's called the Perloff Peanut Butter Challenge. We hope it happens. It got us down a rabbit hole of unique peanut butter sandwiches. James is in Texas. James, you got something international for us.
Yeah, how are y'all doing on this gorgeous afternoon?
Great.
Yeah, actually, when McLovin brought up the Swedish peanut butter tasting cheese,
Norwegian,
or Norwegian, right. So when I was in college, I did a study abroad program, and the professor, like the chaperone, she actually was like super excited for us to try that cheese you're talking about, and coincidentally, it was because she was like, it's going to be so weird when you guys taste it, and everybody was like, their mind was blown. It tasted like peanut butter, and when you brought that up, it reminded me of it. But the funny thing is, I was the wet blanket who wasn't surprised, because down south, we got Fremunda cheese that also tastes like nut butter.
Ooh,
What's it called?
Fremunda?
Fremunda cheese.
Oh, I see it. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah. Tastes exactly like nut butter.
Is it good?
I would have to ask my girlfriend what she thinks.
Oh, I don't think so, James. When the first thing that came up was...
Oh, I knew that was dirty. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm even upset that I Googled this on a work computer. We're already potentially in hot water with management because we tried to go straight ahead with the peanut butter challenge. What's funny about this? Yeah, a lot of things.
There were a lot of things that were going awry early in that call.
Yeah, there were. There were a couple of things that just like...
There was a red flag early in the call.
There was a red flag early in the call.
I don't even think the accent was real.
That's what I was thinking. It sounds like a fake accent.
Anyway, he got us.
Was that the first red flag you had?
No, it was something about how whenever somebody compliments me at the beginning of a call,
that's when you know.
That's a dead giveaway.
Especially somebody from DP show world. Then immediately, it's like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah, that's a deep love for you. Yeah, 855.
No, it's a deep. Yeah, like, trust me.
855-212-4CBS. I thought the accent might have been fake. All right, well, that does not do anything to what lies in front of us, which is waiting to get the call from our boss, Spike Eskin, to see whether or not we can actually do this.
By the way, the times are coming in the combine.
What do you got?
Lucas Van Ness, who's this hot defensive end, 4'6'4". The dude weighs 280. These 40s are crazy.
I know, and they just get faster and faster every year.
I saw there were 8 or something defensive tackles under 4'9", and defensive tackles are 300 bucks. They are incredible. All these people are so much faster than... I think the clock's gotten easier.
Oh, you think they bend time? The clock's more forgiving?
Well, it's like baseball. I mean, you're telling me that all of a sudden everyone's throwing 8 miles an hour faster than they did in the 70s? Of course not. It's just the clocks are more lenient. No,
no, they're using like sticky, pine tar and stuff on their hands to get the revolutions. You know what the Astros were doing?
No. They changed the clocks. Nobody threw faster than Nolan Ryan, and Nolan Ryan's not anywhere near today's pitchers, right?
I think Nolan Ryan still would be. But
Nolan Ryan topped out at about 99.
But your average pitcher then, who we thought was throwing gas, was throwing like 87.
No. You've heard this theory that that they changed the calibration on radar clocks.
I've never heard that before.
You're kidding.
I swear I have.
Have you guys ever heard this?
Is this like a conspiracy theory or something?
Well, now there's 65 pitchers who throw over 100, and the way they calibrate radar guns has changed.
I always thought it was because they're getting more spin on the ball. Mostly because I thought most of the people are, using some kind of substance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like rosin mixed with sunscreen and like the sticky stuff. Pine tar.
If you watch the documentary of Nolan Ryan, he's obviously throwing it faster than Aroldis Chapman, but Aroldis Chapman's coming in at 105 for the same pitch that Nolan was getting 98.
I never thought it was attributed to the clocks. I've never heard that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I assume that was a given.
That's like a great baseball conspiracy theory. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, coming up, play a little combine game of Are They Lying? Who told the biggest lie at the combine? We'll get to that in just a moment. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff right after this.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Oh, man, Maggie, the combine times are insane. Nolan Smith apparently just ran a 4.4 reportedly. The Georgia defensive end, former #1 overall recruit. Okay, now I'm starting to think this is just silly.
Well, they're preparing for this.
I think, oh, man. I did tweet out what I said about how this is facts. Baseball guys do not throw that much harder now. The radar gun has changed, and I have about 1 million articles that were too boring for me to even get through. There's just no way. There's some Phillies middle relievers throwing 102. You're telling me 102? That's not happening, Maggie.
It's all a blur, I think, when it gets over like 92 or 93 anyway.
I think the timing is a little more lenient. Maybe the NFL tweaked things a little bit.
Well, we'll see, because like the pro days, we know we can't trust those clocks
Those
at
are ridiculous.
all.
That's like an 82-year-old scout with his hand on a thumb. Yeah, nobody don't even read a pro day.
No, you can't even, like, some reason time doesn't, bends at a pro day. Heights are weird. Like,
yeah,
guys are in shoes, cleats,
There's no
high
computer
heels.
timing.
It doesn't make any sense.
There's no computer timing at a pro day. It's all handheld.
How about this? Speaking of baseball, though, I did see something yesterday where the pitch clock, which has been pretty amazing so far in spring training, where Pitching Ninja put a side-by-side up. Rob did. He's so good. Of one pitcher getting through a full half inning, Perloff, before, who was, like, Pedro Baez or someone? Somebody who it was from 2016. One pitcher in spring training got through a half inning where the other pitcher didn't even throw a pitch, all in the same amount of time, like up as a side-by-side. It was 1 minute and 50 seconds where one pitcher got through a half inning and another pitcher did not throw a pitch to home plate from 2016. This is going to be the best thing that ever happened to sports.
It was Pedro Baez. Yeah. You're right.
You see Theo Epstein is like sitting in a box, rubbing his head, just like, throw home. For the love of all things holy, just throw a pitch. Anyway.
Way back in 2000.
Yeah. And they won the World Series that year.
Yeah, I understand. This is definitely an improvement. Is baseball going to catch fire this spring because of this?
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, it's got a little catching up to do.
Yeah, we'll appeal to the younger set.
Well, we were just having a conversation before the show about whether the NBA is kind of going the way of baseball, which is everyone's really just interested in their own team and maybe a little bit less, just the league in general.
A little more regionals compared to national.
We were all watching Kevin Durant, though, last night.
Not really. It wasn't even on national TV, but yes.
It was not on national TV, but a lot of us, get the league pass, so it's a little easier.
Yeah, I don't think everyone was right. But Durant... Yeah, the other thing, too, was that somehow we had a caller yesterday who mentioned the Hornets won 5 in a row leading into this game.
Yeah.
How did that team win 5 in a row without LaMelo Ball? What is going on?
It was a big shock when we found that out. Had not been keeping up with the Charlotte Hornets.
Are you ready to declare the Suns the favorite to win the title? I am by a mile.
You were ready before the game last night, let alone Durant.
Kevin Durant gets to play with professionals again? Forget it. They're going to tear it. He has not played with a guy, since he left Golden State, he hasn't played with a guy who's as professional as Devin Booker in a long time. This is going to be awesome.
Here's a little from Durant last night after his big debut.
A lot of nerves. I done played in almost 1,000 basketball games, but today I was nervous. You know, it's a new team, new group. I want to do well. I want to play hard for them and be coachable. So I was thinking about all of that today. But once the ball was tipped, my teammates were incredible and making me comfortable, and I just tried to go out there and play my game.
Thanks to Bally Sports Arizona for the sound. I mean, it looked really good, but I would expect nothing less. I mean, despite the Hornets' big 5-game win streak, I mean, they are not putting out a very good basketball team right now. If you couldn't have scripted it better for Durant and his teammates to have Charlotte as, well, I think that was, on purpose. What an easy way to get back into things.
I had a stat, though, that bothered me from this game. They won the game 105-91.
Yeah.
KD, Booker, and Ayton shot 32 for 51, about 60%. The rest of the team was 10 for 40. Nobody could hit a shot. I think what happened was they were all sitting around watching KD and Booker.
Well, also, the other guys, like, what?
Who are the other guys?
Who are these other guys?
Yeah,
they traded all their depth pieces away.
That's a bit of an issue. I actually wonder that. And I'm so into this team to be the favorite. But do you need depth? Doesn't the rotation shorten come playoff time? That's what I'm hoping on, because they are bad after the first 5, and nobody plays any defense. Luckily, if there was Charlotte on the schedule every night, Maggie, this would be a juggernaut.
Do we have a little time to play Are They Lying Scouting Combine Edition? We'll just go through a couple quick ones here for you. We give you a quote, and you will tell you whether or not we think this general manager was lying or not. So let's get to it. The first one comes from Chris Ballard. Chris Ballard, the general manager of the Indianapolis Colts, talking about their pursuit of a quarterback.
There's got to be a guy worthy of it. Okay, I know everybody in America is going to say, like, this is what's great right now. Everybody has just automatically stamped that you've got to move up to 1 to get it right. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't.
I don't think this is a lie.
What's a lie? He definitely doesn't want to move up to 1.
I don't think he does. I wonder if this is a situation for Indy where they're picking 4th. Would they just be cool with whoever falls to them?
100,000%.
I mean, it's kind of a big bet, though, to make for Ballard. I mean, this could be it for this could be the last first-round pick he makes. If this doesn't go well, he'll be fired.
You have 4 incredibly flawed top 5 picks. I mean, this is, again, there's no Trevor Lawrence here. Does it make that big a difference?
Yeah, I think he's just kind of hoping it. He's kind of winging it on this one. Let's go to Ravens general manager Eric DeCosta was talking about the deadline, which is Tuesday, to franchise tag Lamar Jackson.
There's a couple different franchise tags. We're hopeful that we'll get a deal done with Lamar before that happens. But sure, they're big numbers. We've known they're big numbers. We're prepared for that. And we've got 4 or 5 or 6 different plans based on what happens over the next 10 days. We both understand the urgency of the situation. It's been a good dialogue, a good discussion. I'm optimistic, as I continue to be optimistic.
Do they really want to get a deal done before Tuesday?
Well, yeah. I mean, they want to on their terms.
Yeah, I'm wondering, do they really want to,
Why would they?
Well, because maybe you try to call his bluff that he would actually play on the franchise tag.
Right.
And then you get another year. Listen, this isn't great because then, he could leave after that year or whatever, but you would get nothing in return for him. But I don't know if I'm wondering more and more, do they really want to do a deal? Do they want to meet him anywhere close to his asking?
I think they do. I think they want to give him. I think they'd love to walk away 180 guaranteed, 300 over 7 years or something. I think they would love whatever. They just don't want to do Deshaun size.
Yeah.
I bet you wouldn't you be happy if you were the Ravens if you walked out with the second biggest deal?
If I were Lamar?
No, if you're the Ravens and you had the second biggest deal of any quarterback. So you're not resetting the whole market around Deshaun Watson, but you were the number 2 deal.
I think you would probably feel lucky.
Yeah, if you didn't have to go to make him the highest paid quarterback, I think you'd feel lucky. I think that's what he's talking about. They already last year was 133 was the report. So say they come in and say, listen, Lamar, will you take $185 million guaranteed? We'll make it a long Mahomes-like deal.
Yeah.
That's not bad, right? That's an offer.
I know, but I don't know if Lamar's going to play ball with that.
I agree with you. I think Lamar is the biggest sticking point. I think the Ravens want this done. I don't think Lamar wants anything less than Deshaun Watson.
Well, and also Lamar, I think, has made it pretty – well, he hasn't made it clear, but there was always a thought that he'll ride this thing out. I think he'll play on the franchise tag, and I think he'd play on the second tag and then hit true free agency at, 28 years old.
Oh, I think he would too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, definitely the Ravens want it done. I don't think Lamar definitely wants it done.
Last one for you. This is from Samter's Jets head coach Robert Saleh.
Where are you guys on Mike White? Would you like to have him back in the quarterback?
Oh yeah, no, Mike. Feel like I probably should be talking about him more. Mike deserves every bit to be talked about. He should be on this roster also.
They better prey on their lucky stars that Mike White's on this roster. I mean, what else are you doing? You're really bringing Flacco back? You got Zach Wilson, but you can't trust him. And now you're, doing multiple dinners with Derek Carr and hoping Rodgers returns your phone calls? They got to pray that Mike White wants to come back and play with them.
Wait, but at the expense, not just Mike White. You're saying,
no, you need more, but you need Mike White on that roster. You need him as a safety net.
I mean, just sign a backup quarterback like everybody else.
Well,
why do you need Mike White? You're saying you need Mike White as a backup.
I think you need Mike White as a backup.
You can find a Mike White as a backup, can't you?
I don't know. The Jets, doesn't come that easy to them.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a Chad Henne type somewhere out there.
Well, no, I think Joe Flacco is their other guy.
I think that
Joe Douglas loves Joe Flacco.
I think the number one biggest concern is their starting quarterback.
Well, of course it is, but I would make sure Mike White's in the building.
Really?
Everybody loves him, and he got hurt last year, and he got hurt the year before, actually. But there's something about that guy in New York City that just sort of jives. I would bring him back.
But his stats are so bad. That's why I was wondering.
Well, I mean,
he's a veteran who's got way more interceptions and touchdowns. That kind of thing worries me a little bit.
He can hand the ball off to Breece Hall if Hall's healthy. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, coming up. Ooh, this was a bit interesting. Major event happening this weekend. Well, of course, the Scouting Combine. But another cultural event happening this weekend. And the details are getting leaked. Tell you about that after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio. Sports Flag.
Well, Jalen Carter was released after posting bail yesterday and was back at the Scouting Combine after being charged with reckless driving and racing in connection with a fatal accident that killed a former Georgia football player and a member of the team staff. The Bucs, needing to clear cap space, will reportedly release tight end Cameron Brate. Former Carolina Panthers owner Jerry Richardson has died at the age of 86. Kyrie Irving wanted out of Brooklyn, got his wish, but so far it hasn't been an easy transition in his new home. The Mavericks will host the Sixers tonight and are just 1-4 with Irving and Luka Doncic in the lineup. While the latter has said the focus should be on the team, Irving does admit to having some growing pains.
Really want to win here. Really put a lot of pressure on myself at times. I think I need to scale it back a little bit just because of the second half of the season, just feeling like we got to be great every single possession. And usually these learning curves or learning moments happen in preseason and it's just happening now.
Sixers are coming off a win in Miami, but Joel Embiid is questionable with a sore foot that kept him out last night. David Pastrnak staying in Boston, signing an 8-year extension worth $90 million. And the Bruins have a busy day, also adding Tyler Bertuzzi, sending a pair of draft picks to Detroit. I'm Rich Ackerman.
He always has a rant. He always has a take. He's Jim Rome, and he's only on CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
We've lost Perloff. He's down the rabbit hole. He's calling BS on all these 40 times.
Okay. Look at it. There's a thing now. So they just had the fastest defensive tackle time in combine history, beating Aaron Donald by 0.2. Another Pitt defensive tackle. And Nolan Smith from Georgia is challenging the all-time defensive end outside linebacker record.
Maybe they're just fast.
These two guys are that fast, coincidentally. I think that the NFL Network is... Yeah, I'm going to say it. I think they're making it into a good TV show by making these all seem super fast.
Whoa.
Wow.
That would be unscrupulous.
I don't know. This is just too coincidental. Every time we see these guys who are weighing 330 pounds running 4.6s, I guess
bigger, stronger, faster, Perloff.
Do you remember anybody coming into this draft saying this is the biggest, strongest, fastest draft of all time? No.
Well, they will be after this combine. Maybe.
I think so.
Oh, you're alleging that not enough people are giving this draft class enough buzz, so now the NFL in cahoots with the NFL Network is getting together to make these guys look superhuman?
I think that there's been some tweakage in how they record these because you're coming down to 100th of a second.
I know, but what's the motivation?
I think the NFL wants the Combine to be a good TV show, and gaudy times make it a good TV show.
I think the answer is that, Perloff, you need to just watch scouting combine footage for the next 3 days with a stopwatch and clock it and see how official and how accurate they're actually being.
So,
and then uncover the truth.
You watch Nolan Smith from Georgia run. I'm watching it on Twitter. It does not look like what a 4.44 is. A 4.44 is Joey Galloway or something. That's a wide receiver number.
You know what's funny? So, a lot of coaches are not going to the Combine anymore, or specifically like Shanahan, McVay, a couple of these guys, because they said, why should I go when I can just watch it on TV? But if the TV is going to lie to you about the times, don't you want to be there in person to be like, I don't know if I trust that 4.45?
Right, but you can't do anything with your handheld 40.
The old eye test, Perloff.
Yeah, but I don't even think these guys care that much anyway.
Well, they clearly don't. They're not there.
Yeah.
They've told us what they think of the Combine.
No, I don't think they care that much about whether a guy is 4.44 or 4.49. I mean, I think
we've
this
got a
little bit of window dressing.
We've got a little Dan Campbell from the Lions speaking to that.
It's a spectacle. And to me, it's more, at this point, just to be able to sit with these guys, for us to be able to do these formal interviews or informal is, to me, the biggest part of all this. It's not even the working out portion. Like, to me, you grade them off the tape. You don't grade off somebody out here in pajamas running around on 40 with no defender around.
I want to see somebody run the 40 in pajamas now.
That'd be great.
Well, like little footy pajamas,
or just
too.
like, or silk,
Yeah,
like,
with a hood that had bear ears or something.
Children's PJs. Let's get to our Casamigos shot of the day.
He shoots!
And the shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos is brought to you by those who drink it. Today's shot of the day. Well, it's been dicey around here. We thought Perloff was going to eat a jar of peanut butter on the show today. Turns out, probably should have run that by the bosses. We didn't. So now we've got to wait and see for the higher-ups to give us the green light.
I do not know if I could get through this bottle of peanut butter. Oh, my God.
You were so confident.
It's so dry in my mouth.
You're not backing out.
Okay, so should you be allowed to drink water while you eat this peanut butter?
I'm not even getting 4 bites in if I can't drink water. Right now, my mouth will barely open from one gigantic bite just to prove I wasn't allergic. This is a mountain we're about to climb.
Also, you have to coherently host a radio show while you do this.
Stu and I are preparing ourselves to be co-hosts for that.
We're not raising the bar. I mean, I don't normally coherently host a radio show. What's the difference?
Man, that clip, though, made it seem like you might be thinking about backing out. You are not backing out. If management says yes, you're a go.
I'm just waiting for the green light, Maggie, and I'm ready to go. Although today has made me think about it a lot. Because just 2 spoonfuls of Skippy, I might need to consider the brand. I might need to consider the spoon. Every detail's got to be right for me to really get a good time here.
Okay, well, until we get a decision on our fate, you have a little time here to workshop, go back to the grocery store, see what they have.
Do you think we'll have an update by tomorrow?
I don't know. We got to see a Spike in tomorrow.
We'll have to talk. I mean, I feel like Spike and Legal will reach out to us, but I do like how Perloff made up his own Mary Poppins song, just a spoonful of
peanut butter.
Skippy, yeah.
You want to sing it? Go ahead.
Just a spoonful of Skippy helps the peanut butter go down. The peanut butter go down.
Good thing we have a couple days to workshop this. We can get going on that song. Everything. Yeah. Now everything's on the table too.
Yeah,
How long is it going to take you?
Yeah, I do think we have to cover our bases here. I'm not saying we have a full EMT team here, but I do think I want some medical support.
Okay, well, let's go to Stan. He's in Kansas. Stan, it says here you're trained on CPR.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I think last time I called in about a month ago, I was driving. So I'm driving to another basketball game here to watch. But hey, I actually teach first aid and CPR to the bus drivers in a school district that I help work at. So if you need me to, I can take the red-eye fly. But I live right in the middle of Kansas, so I don't know how long that would take me. But I also preach, so I'd have to tell my congregation that there's no church on Sunday, so I'd probably get nailed to the cross.
Well, listen, Stan, it's about sacrifices, right? I mean, everyone will understand.
That's right. Close to Easter. Of course they will.
Yeah, that's a big theme.
The the second thing, in college, we used to do egg sucking contests. Okay, I don't know if you guys ever done that in college.
No, is this a prank call? No, it's not.
No, I heard that one call before. So so he just sucked the eggs, and everything. I actually had 6 at one night there, so it's pretty good.
Wait, hold on. I'm not trying to make this weird, but you mean just eating them, right?
No, you poke a hole on both sides, and you hold your finger on one end, right? And then you just suck the egg yolk.
Like Rocky
raw egg yolk?
Yeah, all right. Well, college, okay? We weren't very smart. And but you had to have some liquid courage to begin with, okay? I think I had 6. But, hey, I know time's running out. The third thing I want to say is, I'm a football fan. I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, of course. But I followed football, but I hadn't really started following football again until I started listening to you guys. So, I travel a lot. I visit people in nursing homes, but I have here in Kansas, it's 2 to 5. So I have you guys on all the time.
Oh, well, thank you, Stan. And keep doing that good work. Thank you. Appreciate that. What's funny to me is if I had a lot of liquid courage in me, the last thing I want to eat is a raw egg.
That's a huge tradition of mixing raw eggs and booze.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Tradition
and Bloody Mary.
for who?
You've ever had, I think it has a name when you crack an egg into a beer or whiskey.
I've seen some egg whites and some fancy super bougie cocktails.
Let's look at that. I feel like I've seen people do that.
No, but if I'm drinking a lot, I want a pizza or I don't know, egg roll or something. I don't want a raw egg.
So, right.
You need something greasy to soak it up.
It's a famous also hangover cure. Is a raw egg, something with booze, something spicy. But how about that scene in Rocky in the beginning when he mixed out all the raw? I assumed all boxers ate raw eggs. They don't?
I mean, I assume that Sylvester Stallone got it from somewhere, right? How many takes do you think he did of that?
Hopefully just one. That was super gross. It spilled all over his sweatshirt. I think raw eggs is something that people do.
It used to be a thing a long time ago until science came around and we're like, oh, by the way, you shouldn't do that anymore.
Yeah. Oh, quickly, we got to get to Chad, who's in Green Bay. Chad, we told you to call today because Perloff was going to sleep on your bet. How you doing, Chad?
Good, guys. Sounds like you made his choice, so what you got, Perloff?
So I've been thinking about it. You get
reset
this is a $100 bet. Who goes further in the playoffs? Your Milwaukee Bucks or the team of my choice? I don't get the field. So I thought long and hard about this, Chad. The loser has to give $100 to the charity of the other's choice. Now, I think the Phoenix Suns are the favorite to win the NBA title, but I'm not picking them.
Whoa.
Because, come on, their average age is 47 years old. They could easily get an injury. I'm going to go head-to-head, mano-a-mano, the two best teams in the East. I will take the Boston Celtics to go against your Milwaukee Bucks. Whoever goes further gives up $100. What do you think, Chad? Fair?
I got you. And a pie in the face.
Wait, what?
Wait. I thought you were just taking the pie, Chad, from your wife who just wanted to pie you in the face for fun.
Oh, I can just do that. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we can just do $100.
Okay. We can't go back to the pie. We just did the pie.
Felt like you tried to pencil in a pie in the face at the end of the show there, Chad.
I do got to say that I did play the clip for my wife yesterday when I got home, and she thinks you guys are funny. She did think it was a little weird that you guys were debating our sex life, but...
listen, you called us.
Listen, you're the one who mentioned the whipped cream. That's all I'm going to say.
And it was weird when you mentioned the handcuffs. We were just like, well, why, Chad?
Yeah, you don't need handcuffs to throw a pie in somebody's face.
Chad, we like it. You're locked in. You versus Perloff, $100 to the charity, the other's choice. And Perloff, you're taking the Celtics. Wearing a 76ers hat today, mind you.
It's a bit of an emotional hedge, but what do you think, Maggie? That's the best choice, right?
Love it. Chad, we'll put you on hold for a second. Samter, I dropped him. Shoot. We'll have to get Chad's info. I'm sorry.
Chad will call back.
Hopefully Chad will call back.
I want to avoid the West. I'm not getting anything. It's obviously in the East. The least I think we get a head-to-head battle in the conference title.
I think you chose wisely.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was smart. You did sleep on it. Good job.
I thought about the Lakers and decided no, despite their big win last night.
Thank you to Mike Samter, to Stu Kovacs, to Rick Spielman, who joined us early in the show. The Weedos and the Purple Drinkers in the chat. You guys are fantastic. Everybody on the phones. See you tomorrow, hopefully with an update on the Perloff Peanut Butter Challenge.